from the Pirates. They are now a half game in front of your Seattle Mariners in the AL West. Game 2 coming up at 3:40. You got the Cubs and Nationals in Washington. Yankees host the Guardians. Blue Jays and Phillies in Toronto. Braves and Diamondbacks in Atlanta. One other bit of news. Speaking of the Rockies, they completed their first 3-game sweep since September 8th of 2024. How about that? They took out the Marlins yesterday 3-2 to complete that sweep.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center here. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com on another beautiful day outside. Hopefully everybody's having a great day out there. We got a big show coming up. A.J. Barner of your Seattle Seahawks will join us at 2:30 once they wrap things up on the field out there. Paul Moyer at 3 p.m. We'll do Best of the Rest coming up at 3:30. Eugene Robinson, one of the all-time greats, is going to join us as far as Seahawks go at 4 p.m. And then another edition, the latest edition of the Raleigh Show coming up at 5 p.m. Typically that's on Thursdays, but we have a day game tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So we'll give you the Raleigh Show coming up at 5 p.m. today. You guys can text in 866-979-3776. Boy, these headsets are weird. I'm having all kinds of trouble with headsets today, Dave. We were hooking up our Comrex units from home, and I couldn't get mine going and had to plug into a different spot than it was before. I was sending pictures to Lefko, and then he being the technical wizard that he is, was walking me through it, and we finally got it working, sort of.
Well, it's kind of weird because I didn't have any problems.
I know, and he said as much. That was the funny thing, is our technical wizard left his mic on, so I heard him talking smack about me after they were done. Yeah.
Bob, I was stunned. It was more of an indictment on Dave and you. I could not believe that you couldn't figure something out that Dave did.
If somebody would have told you one of
I was stunned.
The hosts is going to have problems, that would be me.
Yeah.
But, so you know what? I'm in a great mood today. Really happy.
Between the two of us, though, as I was telling Lefko, the day we got that equipment, I plugged it in, and it has not been touched since, other than the on-off button. You've taken yours to Palm Springs. You've unhooked and hooked yours back up.
So what you're saying is it's somebody else's fault?
No, it's not plugged into the same spot that it was.
Trust me. That's what you want to say. It's somebody else's fault. You didn't break it. It just broke. This is like George Costanza saying, Jerry, it's not a lie if you believe it. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to help you out.
We kind of got it working. It doesn't sound very good, but we kind of got it working. So we'll see when it comes into use. But I heard Lefko going, "Oh, just plug it in." It's just mimicking my voice. I'm like, technical wizard left his mic on. Heard him chirping back there.
How did he do imitating you?
Not very good.
Was it kind of like when Matt tries to imitate me?
Yeah, it's kind of the standard like dumb guy voice. You plug it in here. Little weasel. That's and I don't know what's going on with these today, but we'll power through and power through the heat in this room. I don't know what Bump and Stacy had going in here. The heater was on or something. They bring a heater in here.
You know, it's funny. I'm perfectly cool, Bob. I have no problems today.
Yeah, you walked in. First thing you said, "It's kind of warm in here." Don't lie, Dave. Don't lie.
Okay. Yeah. It actually got nice outside. We were outside watching. You mentioned we got A.J. Barner on the show. He had a great day today.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a couple of red zone catches and some other stuff. So they were targeting him. He looks really good. So yeah, another beautiful day out here. Just watching some of the things that go on out here. You know, interesting how we get to know Mike McDonald a little bit more every year, and we'll get into it later. But he had a point where he stopped the practice and gave everybody an earful.
Yeah,
just about protecting each other. It's really tough. I watched Robbie Oots and Derek Hall like a full speed collision pretty much. And I think that's where it kind of started. And, you know, and you could see, and both of them just walked away like no big deal. But I was like, ooh, that's about as tough of a hit I've seen without pads.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Mike had to kind of rein him in. But, yeah, it's just it was fun watching that. And it's always a beautiful setting and everything. And I'm trying to stall or talk about the Baltimore Orioles Seattle Mariner game, but yeah, I mean it was it's cool to be out there and for the Seahawks to have us out here.
Yeah, it's very cool. And we'll talk to AJ Barner coming up at 2:30, so stay tuned for that. Again, you guys can text into 866-979-3776. Things not going the way we had hoped in Game 1 of the series with the Baltimore Orioles. It was the third start of George Kirby's season since he's come off the IL, and I'll say he did look better. He certainly did look better than he has. That first inning just killed him. 30-whatever pitches he threw. Just could not get out of that first inning, so killed his pitch count. Otherwise, I think it's safe to assume he's going 6 at least. He limited the damage, gave up 2 runs. Still not sure with the scoring that happened in there. I mean, J.P. Crawford just biffed that ball, and they didn't call it. They called it a base hit. I mean, yeah. That's some hometown scoring right there. I mean, it literally went off the end of his mitt. And had he made that play, maybe we're looking at a different outcome, at least in terms of Kirby's outing. But 5 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 95 pitches. So they didn't seem to have a limit, like we're going to stop him at 80. He had a high-stress inning in the first inning. I thought maybe they would take him out of there early, but he was able to give him 5 and limit the damage to 2 runs. And here he is just talking about how he felt his outing went.
Yeah, sinker, some really good curveballs executable to the zone. I think, I did a lot better job this week making my pitches. Still would like to get ahead a little more. But I thought this was a great step in the right direction, and it felt great. So.
Yeah, I mean, to me it was a step. To me it was decidedly better than what we'd seen in the first. He's not back, but compared to the first 2, this was much better. Especially I like that he was able to rebound after, again, 30. What did he throw in the first inning? 31 pitches, something like that. Yeah. I mean, just he was out there forever.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad to hear him say that. He's very calm, especially after getting hit in the chops, which we'll talk about. But, I mean, he seemed like as long as he's happy with it and he knows his body and everything, you mentioned the 95 pitches. That's a big step. And, we talked about it yesterday, and I was kind of bullish a little bit on George Kirby. And it wasn't so much because I don't think he's good or he's going to be able to recover from the injury. It's just more that, I felt like this just might take him a longer time than we thought. So, and again, he's a guy that missed, pretty healthy amount of. Did he even pitch in spring training, or was it almost? I don't
remember if he had a start because we were down there first week of March, and he was done.
And wasn't that the second week of practice? Because Brock and Salk had been down there, with us. So, yeah, I mean, and so it's he didn't really have all of that, whereas Logan and Bryce Miller got to go through spring training, but just going to be a little bit slower of a climb. But the 95 pitches, was good, and he had 1 walk, only 3 strikeouts, which that's kind of a low number for him. But as long as he and Ryan Roland Smith also was saying that he thinks 100% you don't have, or no, he says 1,000% you don't have to worry about George Kirby. He's going to be back, no problem.
Dan Wilson after the game breaking down what he saw at Kirby.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I thought he had a good fastball, especially later in the game. Last couple innings was really attacking with the fastball, and it looked good. And again, just not a lot of solid contact, just a lot of ground balls and whatnot. And, I thought he attacked the zone well. He got first outs in the innings, which were good, and able to, helped him get out of a lot of things too. So, there are some positives to take, and again, just glad that he was able to come out of the comebacker unscathed.
That doesn't sound like Dan.
It kind of sounds like
he's
a guy
got laryngitis. It was very weird.
Is that what's going on?
I heard that on the pregame show. I was going to say, kind of sounds a little bit like the guy that we're going to have on at 3 o'clock.
Paul Moyer.
Kind of a little scratchy voice. But I was listening to Shannon interview him on the way home, and I was like, who in the hell is she talking to? Because I hadn't heard it was Dan Wilson.
Yeah, sounded odd there.
Yeah. So I think he'll be fine. But it was kind of weird. But
one more from Dan. Just asked if he felt like he saw the signs of the old Kirby out there.
Yeah, I mean, he was really attacking with the fastball at that point, and I thought that was, that's definitely the best fastball we've seen from him since he's been back, and again, when he is throwing that pitch and can throw it where he wants to, and back that up with the secondaries that he has, that's George at his best. And but that's the competitor right there that we saw, and it's great to see that.
Yeah, you saw that competitor again after a brutal first inning in terms of pitch count. Defense didn't back. I mean, JP booted that ball. Should have been an error. I don't know how you give that guy a hit, but they scored it a hit. Whatever. But then the comebacker up the middle. What was it? 102.7 miles per hour.
Digits.
Hits his. I guess caught part of his hand, hit him in the mouth. You see him walking off the field with the blood coming down, and he's just kind of moving his jaw around, looking, staring straight out into the stands, and freaking tough guy. Just walked off the field, and then he does the post-game presser.
Yeah.
And I was watching him. He was very just dismissive of it. They were asking him, like, hey, did it hit your hand? He goes, yeah, it caught a little part of it. I don't know. And they said, well, what part of your hand? And he's like, looking at his hand going, I don't know. There's part of it.
It was his pitching hand, too, wasn't it? That it
Well,
caught?
yeah, because he put his hand up to in reaction to block the ball, and I think it just clipped it a little bit and caught him in the chin.
So maybe that ball, maybe his hand slowed the ball down by 10 miles an hour or something like that.
If that, I don't think it hit it that direct.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it just clipped it and it hit him right in the mouth. And
Man.
they were like, "So are you getting X-rays?" He's like, "Yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm fine."
He's fine.
He was just almost like he didn't even want to talk about it. I'm like, "Good for you, man," because that. I don't know. I think I'd go out there with some PTSD. Like every pitch I threw, I'd be ducking as soon as I was done with the follow through. But yeah, that was a scary moment though, to see it bounce off him, and you look up and you see the blood coming down. You're like, oh boy.
Well, and, the other thing about a pitcher, you got so much going on in your mind, when you're getting ready to throw that pitch, and then you deliver it, and you're kind of assessing like, how did that feel and everything. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure after that he's going to be more, prepared for a comebacker. But, obviously it doesn't happen very often. But still, and I always marvel over the guys that, like Mitch Haniger, that get hit in the face, and you're like, they can just stand right back in there, no problem. But yeah, and I was watching as he was walking off the field. I was looking at a couple of the fans, and there was a couple of people that were sitting like right where he walks in, and a couple of these ladies had like their hands over their mouths, and guys are like looking like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, as soon as you see blood, I think that brings a different reaction.
You don't really expect to see that in baseball.
No, especially when half the time you're like, oh, where'd they hit him in the chest, in the arm, or you don't want it in the face. And the way he walked off initially, the way he moved, I was like, oh, okay, maybe it just missed him. And then you see the close up and the blood coming down. You're like, oh, no, it got him. It got him. And, scary moment, but looks like I haven't heard any updates as far as reports on any exams that he had. But hopefully he's good to go for his next start. And I thought he took a nice step in the right direction. Unfortunately, the offense was not there to back him up. Yeah. Another dismal night for the offense. 7 total hits, 3 of which came from J.P. Crawford. Good to see him get going. But it just, you got nothing. Rowdy Tellez with a home run. That was cool, but that was it. I mean, they were 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They had 5 left on base. They struck out eight times, and they worked 1 walk. Yeah. I mean, it was a bad night for the offense. And I feel like April, the offense was just cooking. It was on fire. It wasn't 1 through 9 that was on fire, but as a whole, they were surprising all of us. And I feel like they've really started to come back to the pack a bit. And because we're having more of these nights more often where we're going, man, the hell happened to the offense? Where was it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes some solace out of this loss that you mentioned. JP. I mean, the last 4 games he's had 10 hits in the last 4 games, which is 16 at bats. And we talked about when we were doing the buy, sell, bullish, bearish thing, and first 12 games for him started out rough, and then he had a stretch there where he was hot, batting .312 over 33 games, and then kind of cooled off pretty significantly. And so now, you see him in the last 4. So there's something that's encouraging. But I don't know, it was just it's a team that once you see them start scoring and hitting the ball, you're like, oh yeah, they got Adley Rutschman. That's a pretty good team. O'Hearn, they've got some good hitters there, just haven't been performing. So, we'll see. Maybe tonight will be 5-1 Mariners. It just seems like that's kind of the way these things have been going. It's just been very hit or miss and up and down. And I still think I'm going to look back. We'll see how this series plays out on the Washington series and just go, how does that happen? You win 9-1 and then you lose 9-0, 9-3.
Yeah. Well, and that's perfect example of what I'm talking about is just we've had these nights more often recently where the offense is pretty much absent.
Yeah.
So even if Kirby, limited, like no more runs were given up, 2 runs, you still lose the game.
Right.
Still, I mean, you got to be able to provide more slack for your pitching staff. So they just feel like they can't make a mistake. They can't give up runs. Same with the bullpen, and it's not every other aspect of the team is perfect. You got some issues going on with the bullpen, as we've seen, where it might be a 1-run lead, and then the bullpen comes in. All of a sudden, it's a 3-run lead. It's a 4-run lead in those Washington games. It really got out of hand. So. Yeah, the bullpen's been inconsistent. The offense has been inconsistent, and they need to get it figured out. Right now, you're a half game out. The Astros won last night, so you're technically in second place by a half game. We'll see if that's going to be, hopefully they can keep doing that and not let them develop a gap. But Justin Hollander was talking on the Starkville podcast, which I'm sure everybody listens to, Jason Stark and Doug Glanville, and talked about the differences between last year and this year and how this year to him feels different.
Yeah, last year's team, I think I've said this before, is that even when we were way up in the standings, I don't really think we were playing very well. And I don't think that's like a unique opinion or a hot take. What we were doing wasn't really sustainable. We weren't scoring with any consistency. We weren't getting on base with enough consistency. We were striking out way too much. We just played bad offense over and over and over again. And we were too lopsided as a team. We were putting too much on one side of the team and sort of making the pitching carry us night after night after night. And at some point, there's going to be a blip. Unfortunately, last year's blip just lasted way too long. We didn't recover in time. We let 6 or 8 weeks go by of just not getting back on track and playing consistent baseball, winning series again. And it ultimately cost us. We fought tooth and nail at the end, but we didn't get back to where we needed to, because we just weren't consistent enough, particularly offensively.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. They had, let's see, I think their longest losing streak. I mean, it was at the end of the Houston trip, and then then coming home with Washington. But there's an analyst that was just saying that last year there were more sustained losses, and it was just more negative. And they, as far as the win losses go, they've been able to find ways to win and get it done with an offense, a lot of different kind of players like Rowdy Tellez.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unfortunately, he was the contributor last night, but yeah, I mean, they've been able to. Did nobody else had an extra base hit? I don't think.
No.
So,
wasn't good.
Yeah. So, but they've been able to kind of stem the tide as far as those losses. So hopefully, we see something different tonight with Hancock on the mound.
He further elaborates on why there is more optimism around this year's team.
I think this year's team is different. We haven't pitched probably to our capabilities or our talent due to a number of factors, whether it's injuries or inconsistencies or, maybe just a lack of overall sharpness. But we have scored more consistently. The offense has been more consistent. It has been better. We need to continue to get better on all sides of the ball. But I do feel like this year's group has a recipe that's probably more sustainable than last year's was.
We'll see, because I feel like it's trending the wrong way, is what I'll say, at least where we're at right now with the offense. It's been wildly inconsistent, and yeah, they're finding, ways to win. But you look at the Minnesota series. You win the game 2-1. It was a great pitcher's duel. You went out there, you scored 2 runs. You scored 1 run last night. You brought up those games against Washington. You got shut out 9-0. You scored 3 runs the next night.
Yeah.
So it is inconsistent. You lose to Houston 2-1. You put up 1 run there. You lose to Houston in the other game. You put up 3 runs. So they're not putting up a ton of runs currently, and they'll have a game where they put up the 9 and then they get shut out. And it's just got to find, much like we talk about Julio, you got to find some steadiness. You got to find some even ground here where I don't expect they're going to put up 5 runs a night, but these wild swings where it's like, hey, we got nothing. We got 1 home run and 6 singles. And we did nothing after that. I mean, it doesn't matter if Kirby was old Kirby, 7 innings, 8 innings, 2 runs, you lose that game.
Yeah.
You lose that game. So it's frustrating to watch, and hopefully they can find the remedy. And some of the guys that had been hot, maybe they can get hot. Polanco, people like that. But right now, coming out of that one run, not going to get it done. We'll see if they add more to the docket when Hancock takes the hill tonight. Again, 5:30 pregame show, 6:40 first pitch right here. Seattle Sports on 710. Let's take two.
Well, Logan Gilbert makes his second rehab start tonight with Tacoma. And for the current Mariners lineup tonight, it's the right-handed hitting lineup against Orioles lefty Cade Povich. So Raleigh's DHing, Mitch Garver catching, no Polanco, and Donovan Solano's playing first.
Oh, boy.
Donnie Barrels, I can't wait to see him get back on track.
Yeah, get back? That implies he was on track at one point.
Last year.
Going back to last season, I see. It would be great if he got on track. That would be wonderful. Anybody who's not currently on track, get on track. I don't care what your name is. Get on track. They need it. And we'll see if how Logan comes out of his. I don't know what their plan is in terms of how many rehab starts they feel like he's going to need, or what they need to see in those rehab starts. Maybe velocity, or working up his pitch count, stretching him out. We'll see how many rehab starts, but hopefully he comes out of there healthy and feeling sharp tonight.
Well, the All-Star Game voting is now open. The Phase 1, where you vote for the top two at each position, runs through June 26th, and then those two move on to determine the starters. That runs from June 30th through July 2nd. So you would assume and hope that Cal Raleigh becomes the first Mariners catcher ever to start an All-Star Game, but to ensure that, voting starts now. So I guess get on it.
Where? MLB.com, right?
Yes, MLB.com. And then right now there's a bunch of stories up because it just opened up this morning. So I think right on the main page there's a bunch of links and places to go click and start voting.
Outside of Munoz, which you don't vote on relievers, so that'll be up to the whoever is managing. But in terms of who you can vote on for the Mariners, he's really the only one, right?
Cal?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about him still. No, yeah. I mean, that's funny. When we were talking about All-Stars, I remember forgetting about Munoz. But again, it's not somebody you can vote for anyway. But yeah, I would say Cal. How about Julio?
No,
probably not.
No, I mean he may get in based on popularity. We'll see. But I think he's still the biggest name that somebody on the other side of the country that doesn't follow the Mariners, they're going to know who Julio is before Cal at this point. But that's starting to shift, and the only guy I think you reasonably can make the case for, and you don't even have to make the case, Cal's an all-star and should be the starter, and hopefully the rest of the country that's voting will see that as well. But we'll see how that voting goes. But I don't know who else is going to. You could legitimately say this guy needs to be an all-star in terms of people you can vote on. Pitchers are separate.
Somebody was talking about Cal Raleigh in the home run derby. Mm-hmm. And possibly hitting from both sides of the plate and all that.
Well, Rutschman did that. So.
Yeah, so that'll be entertaining. But yeah, right now it's him and Andres Munoz, who you would think anyway.
All right, Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Well, he had an impressive debut season, and we'll see what A.J. Barner expects out of himself this year. He's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob. It is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here. And I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about. The guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, have you been considering surgery or even joint replacement? It's Dave Wyman here, and after years of football, I know all about bad knees. So I recently had a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. And I've heard so many patients rave about stem cell therapy with Dr. Wagner. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone. They're back hiking, jogging, playing tennis, skiing, golfing, even just going up and down the stairs, like playing with the kids and grandkids, and doing it without pain and, most importantly, without surgery. Dr. Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, which can regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. And Dr. Mark Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience. and he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. So he's also one of the few that's doing it the right way. So whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Roger. Roger, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
Over the last several years, my homeowner's insurance policies just kept on going up and up and up. For years, it was $1,100. Last year, it was $2,500. And this year, $5,000. That's what got me to call First Mark Insurance.
Were they able to save you any money?
Absolutely. Within a couple of days, came up with a proposal that blew my socks off. It was an amazing amount of reduction in cost.
Did they improve your coverage while saving you all that money?
They did both. The coverage is better and the cost is substantially less. It's half as much as I was paying last year. Recommend First Mark to anyone who is looking to get better coverage at less cost.
Well, Roger did it, my family did it, and you got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge and see how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Take advantage of Lake Washington Windows hot savings. $750 off per window and $1,500 off per door with leak armor installation. And enjoy 12-month same-as-cash financing only through June. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple of years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, Call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are live at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. We're going to catch up with A.J. Varner here momentarily. They just wrapped things up out there on the field, so it may take a couple minutes. But you two, before he gets here, let's talk about him.
Yeah, let's do that.
You saw him out there, and he blew you away.
Yeah,
you liked what you saw.
Yeah, they had a red zone drill where he caught two touchdowns, and one of them was like a corner route, and then he might have gotten held by Tyrese Knight. He might have, but I'm always gonna go on the side of the linebacker.
Yeah.
What's up, AJ?
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
What's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah.
I was just talking about your the red zone period that you had.
Yeah.
I said I thought maybe Tyrese Knight got away with, but there was an official right there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, just competing.
Yeah, but I mean, you had a couple of great catches there. You
Yeah.
had a really good day, and how does it feel coming back your second year?
It feels good. I mean, to be honest with you, today was one of my better days receiving wise. The run blocking's coming along well, and that's always something I hang my hat on.
Yeah.
But coming into the second year, it's like obviously a new system, so it's almost like your first year.
Okay.
But in terms of like just knowing how the league works, knowing how the schedule works, knowing how to take care of your body and the tempo of the game, so it's encouraging, and just still a lot of details that need to be cleaned up though.
Yeah. How different is it just in terms of? I'm sure you walked in here wide-eyed going, oh, wow, okay, NFL, and I don't even know where the cafeteria is or where the meeting rooms are. I mean, everything's new, and you're just trying to figure life out as an NFL player. How much more comfortable are you coming back, even though it is a new system and everything, just feeling like, I know what I'm in store for now?
Yeah, you kind of just, know you belong a little bit, because I feel like when you come in as a rookie, it's like, am I, you know you're good enough, but it's like you're not sure yet. So now you come in here, and it's like, okay, I've had a good first year, whatever, but put all that aside, and none of that matters now, but I can hang in this league, and I can be a valuable contributor to this team, and I can also help lead the way for the other guys, because I'm in my second year, but you can still be a leader. So
yeah, I think you and I were walking to the buses last year after the last game, and I was telling you how you're going to feel all of that when you come back, just the familiarity and everything, and it's kind of a cool feeling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not like, oh, I made it, but you always want to get better. But just, I don't know, were there times where you were like, I know I felt lost my rookie year.
Yeah.
And you ended up, having some good, you had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You had some good blocks. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's kind of a relief, right?
Yeah. No, I think you kind of learn throughout the season that these games are long, and it's like, oh, the first quarter I might not have had a catch. The second quarter, maybe you don't have a catch. The third quarter comes around, boom, you could have 3 in one drive. So you really got to stay in the game. And then also too, I just feel like I'm a really good fit for Seattle. I love playing here. I love being a Seahawk. And I fit in with being up here in the Pacific Northwest. I went to Michigan for 1 year, didn't really have all the glitz and glamour coming out. And I kind of fit in with that, okay, yeah, you might forget about me, but I'm going to be here. And same with our team as a whole. So
when you look back at your rookie year, which I'm sure you did in the off season and reflected on it, what did you look at and say, man, I like what I did here. I got to get better at this. I got to do this more. What'd you take away?
I liked the fact that I felt like I didn't let an opportunity pass me. I feel like I really scrapped for all the opportunities that I got. And then in terms of second year, I feel like just the route running details, little things to do to get open, the run blocking and pass pro as well. And then I think just playing a consistent whole game. I mentioned that these games are long and that there's so many snaps, and as a tight end you're asked to do so many different things that you're definitely going to make some mistakes, but by staying consistent throughout the whole game and every facet of it, run block, pass block, making catches, I think that's the next step for me, not just having 20 good snaps out of out of 25, 30, having 45 good snaps out of 50,
Did you do anything different physically? Like, oh, I want to gain weight, I want
Yeah.
to lose weight,
definitely, putting on a little more weight. I think I can even stack a little bit more, but just my role in the offense too. Like a lot of people, think of me as an inline tight end, which I absolutely am, but I can play in the slot as well. But just making sure that I'm stacked on that weight because, these DNs, they're some of the highest paid dudes in the league,
Yeah.
So could I block those guys? But I'm up for it, so.
Yeah, tell us about the new scheme, like what you've noticed that's different as far as the run game and maybe a little bit of the pass as well.
Yeah, I just think the identity of it, like, okay, like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a million different ways to do it, but here's what we're going to do. And, like, I don't know if it's the elephant in the room, but it's, outside zone. I don't know if I should say that, but, and then also, too, just
it's okay.
like,
It's
but
out
like,
there.
Yeah, but honestly, we're going to run it and, try and stop it because we're going to run it at you. And then, too, the system, like, it's a system. So, like, I can look at, like, okay, here's the Texans in 2004 running this. Here's George Kittle in 2022 running this play. Like, there's, examples to look at. Where last year's a good scheme, I loved Coach Grubb, but, it hadn't really been in the NFL. So you can't really look in a hot folder and see, like, okay, here's how we're running this concept, and here's somebody running it 2 years ago and getting the ball on it. So,
As far as who you're catching passes from, that's different. I know you only had 1 year with Geno, and it's only been a couple times out here on the field with Darnold and Drew Lock and Milroe. What's that been like for you?
Sam puts it on the money, and I think the one thing that I appreciate from him, and that takes time to learn as well, is his anticipation. Like, you run your route and be open when you're supposed to be open because he's going to throw it at that timing. And if you're not out of your break, the ball's coming. So I think getting that down with Sam is going to be huge, and that makes a world of difference, especially in this league when these windows are so tight, the timing of the play. And then that takes into knowing, like, okay, I'm on the backside of this concept. I have more time to work for Sam to get back to me over there. So, but he's done a really good job. He's been a great leader. And we have a new offense, so it's kind of like, Sam hasn't been a Seahawk, but, like, he's going to be a guy, and he's our quarterback, obviously. So, like, he's the leader of the offense. So, and he's doing a great job.
What'd you do this offseason? I mean, obviously you worked hard, looks like it, but do anything for fun just to get away from football?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big music guy. Like, I love classic rock, rap, country music. So I'll do
you're all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place when it comes to that. And just like doing little stuff outside of football and meeting different people. Like, I'm a curious person. I want to learn about, different things that, people do or different industries. So I'm trying to immerse myself in that a little bit. I went home to Cleveland, Ohio. Love my home, but I was there too long, honestly. My mom loves having me home, but, like, I was there for, like, a month, and I was like, all right, I got to go. I'm getting bored. So hopefully I can maybe get on a little getaway when we get this little break just to clear the mind for a couple days, getting some sun. So I got to plan it. But that's one thing I'm terrible at is, like, we're so busy right now that, like, that break comes, and it's like I don't have anything even planned. Like, so. But
when you say you're talking about the music here, did you go to concerts or
just like I'll go to like
who'd you
live
see?
Music. No, I honestly didn't even go to any concerts, but just listening to music, and then also too, like, I'll go to like a jazz like club, basement, like jazz vibe, just to chill, or just like live music, love that, or just like some of my friends that I know that don't play football like do music, so some stuff like that. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
Bob's a rock star.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I would be
He's
in my second life. That's what
I'm a failed rock star.
Yeah, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Failed?
Yeah.
Well, you're here, Bob. I mean, come on.
I'm doing sports radio now instead of touring the world. So I failed.
I'm doing this instead of doing what he does. So,
what kind of music?
It was in the grunge era. Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'll play you some stuff.
Pearl Jam or something.
Yeah. I do. We had the same management and all these guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Very incestuous scene out here. For a long
great.
time.
That's why I think I fit in too, because it's like I love that stuff.
There's a lot of music still going on out here.
Yeah.
So, do you get recognized out here?
Honestly, no.
So you can walk around. And
I feel like people would just be like, oh, like they see the size and it's like, oh, what do you do?
They must be an athlete.
Yeah. So, but I kind of stay around the VMAC and not out too much anyway. So.
Do you live close by?
Yeah, I'm right over here.
Yeah. You know, the one thing I missed in my career was taking care of my body.
Yeah.
What I ate and everything, that just wasn't a thing. And you know, we see guys, usually guys will come in with like this shake that has nutrients or whatever they need. But has that become a huge part of it for you?
My therapist, too, like obviously the training staff here, but I do a ton of acupuncture, massage therapy, red light therapy, hyperbaric chamber. So that stuff's honestly huge. And just like I had a really good vet, Pharaoh Brown, last year, and Noah, incredible as well. Those guys just like, yo, what do you do? Like, what gives you that extra edge? And I think the nutrition I can take to another level, but that's everything, especially when you have a Sunday night game and then you play on Thursday or something. So, yeah. And after an OTA, even today, like I'm like, damn, I'm kind of sore a little bit. Yeah.
Well, man, we're excited to see you out there year 2 and see that next step for you. Always appreciate you taking time with us, and hopefully we're talking again soon.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on here.
There you go, AJ Barner of your Seattle Seahawks, spending a few minutes with us here. We're going to come back, talk about what were the major takeaways from the second day of OTAs. That's coming up next with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks OTAs continue, and Seattle Sports is there.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
This thing on?
It's on.
All day today with Bump and Stacy live at the VMAC at 9 a.m.
OTAs kicking off today.
Followed by Wyman and Bob right up to Mariners pregame at 5:30.
We'll talk about what stood out.
We are your eyes and ears on the sidelines at Seahawks OTAs. The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with some great news. I'm with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, you guys just increased your community coverage.
That's right, Brock. We like to say we're in your neighborhood. We have you covered here at IRG. We just added 2 fantastic locations. One is in Harbor Square in the Edmonds Bowl, and the other one is in the Mill Creek Town Center, right to the entrance to Mill Creek Town Center. So we'll be able to provide fantastic care to all of us and everybody's neighborhood.
You know I love it. Expert physical and hand therapy right in your neighborhood.
That's right. We're in your neighborhood. We want to be your neighborhood family physical therapist. We'll take care of you, your family, and your neighbor.
And remember, no referral needed. Just personalized care when and where you need it. Visit irgpt.com and schedule your appointment today. With over 40 convenient locations, IRG is right in your neighborhood, and now 2 new spots as well. That's irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
The American Band, the legendary Grand Funk Railroad, is rolling into Muckleshoot Event Center Wednesday, August 6th. with special guest Jefferson Starship. Don't miss this night of classic rock that defined a generation. Get tickets now at muckleshoecasino.com. Grand Funk Railroad with special guest Jefferson Starship. Only at Muckleshoe Casino Resort.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Allergy and sinus symptoms are annoying. They're frustrating and can ruin an entire day. They're also curable. I'm Dr. Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We can free our patients of awful symptoms by testing and treating their allergies to simple, non-invasive treatments. Stop suffering from nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, facial pain, and even snoring. Let us help you get relief. Easily, quickly, and permanently. We're local in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us or book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks to A.J. Barner, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you all are just tuning in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. He was a nice guy, Dave.
He's a good dude.
Good dude.
He reminded me of Nick Vanette.
Vanette.
A little
Nick
bit.
Vanette, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm trying to remember the tight end that was here. Ohio State guy.
Because I remember him and Luke Wilson used to, they roomed together, and Nick believed that there was a ghost in their house.
And the
I'm
whole...
not saying AJ would, but he'd be down to the possibility.
Yeah, you think he's open to that?
He's a good player, man. I mean, it's not just me saying, oh, I think he's a great guy and all this crap. I mean, it's really like his blocking, especially, and that's really where a tight end sells me. And so we'll see with Fant, not always the greatest blocker, and we'll see about this Arroyo kid because he's really interesting. I mean, he's got size and really like blazing speed. I don't know about as far as his quickness in and out of routes and things like that, but he's not much of a blocker. And so and I'm always just kind of looking for that Kittle or Kelsey type guy. Like Kittle especially is a really good blocker. And yeah, I mean I think and you know what, so is Pharaoh Brown. That's for Paul Moyer. Remember when I said that? He's like, no.
He was going.
Yeah, Pharaoh Brown's a good blocker. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think that's the part that he had 4 touchdowns, but he was able to show the ability to shake loose and get open and everything. But a lot of times, I'd see him like on the backside of a run play, just working his tail off. To get, and you never know. And one time there was a situation where, he was doing that on the backside, and, the ball starts off one way and then cuts all the way back. And sure enough, he's got the guy sealed off back on the backside. So, yeah, to be a complete tight end and just one of those end line type, not like a guy that's going to move around, back and forth. But yeah, I mean, I just think he's got everything it takes to get that done, and he had a great day today, and that was one of the things that stood out at in that end zone or red zone drill that they had. It happened right in front of us, and man, it was pretty cool to watch, just the precision of the throws, and then just some of the crazy catches guys are making out there.
He also played with an edge last year, which I kind of dug as a rookie. Had a little attitude at times. There was a little aggression. He wasn't this shy rookie, just like, okay, I'm just, happy to be here. He had some edge to him, which, we'll see what it looks like year 2 with just that level of comfort that he's got, knowing what he's in store for him, what it takes. And he talked about the grind of a game, and these are long games. So he knows everything now in terms of what to expect. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch what the steps that he's able to take. Outside of him, any position groups that caught your eye today? I'm sure you're keeping an eye on the linebackers, but it's hard to tell with defense other than cornerbacks because you're not hitting, you're not tackling out here. There's no pads. So, the linemen, that for me is a hard thing to gauge in a setting like this, but what stood out to you in terms of position group?
As far as a specific one, I guess, there were just individuals kind of that stood out to me, but just watching the offensive line continue to work, and they call him JB. I'm trying to remember the name of the offensive line coach. But because every time Schneider comes in here, McDonald, they use JB. Anyway, watching him work with guys and how, like, you'll hear him over there going, no, that's not good. Yes, this is good. And he'll go up and down the line and look at everybody's stance and their body position and, like, take the next step. No, you're way off. He's kind of a little bit grumpy, and, Benton is the coach, and just watching the precision and what it takes. And I've been kind of watching some of the wide zone stuff. I think it's funny that Barner was like, I think I can say this, wide zone.
He said outside
zone, whatever.
For the guy on the couch, explain what he means by that.
Yeah, it's just basically like I was watching a whole coaching thing on it this morning, but basically you're just kind of trying to get you're going to the sideline. I mean, you'll see like guards just get out of their stance and almost run like straight down the line. Mm-hmm. Now they got to get to certain points to block guys, but what happens is you end up getting angles when they're on the run and they're going sideways. If you seal a guy off, and it just makes a bigger gaps, and it makes it tougher for the linebackers and the defensive line to stay in their gap. And a lot of times it's a wide gap because they're taking off, and it kind of, the offensive line kind of spreads out. And there's just a lot of opportunities for running backs to, pick a lane. Or cut back or whatever. Because, sometimes when he gets the ball, he's like 4 or 5 yards away from the offensive line where they are. And, you've got a tight end block in there. You got a tackle. I mean, it's spread out.
Right.
So, and then the other thing I mentioned this the other day that, if it's play action pass, it's really like you got to run a long way. I mean, if you get all the way out there on that wide zone, and then all of a sudden it quarterback pulls it, and it's it's like crossing routes and things like that. I mean, you got a long ways to run, so it just makes it really difficult. And what they try to do is make everything look the same. Run the same type of play, but then little blocking variations off of it, and then different plays. And so it'll just be really interesting. And that stat that Brady Henderson had yesterday about how many times the pocket for the passers, the quarterbacks, was moving. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I mean, what that is offensive line friendly play calling. Because, if you're just going to sit back and drop back in a pocket, you're asking your guys to sit there and beat up these, like AJ was saying, some of these defensive ends, highest paid guys in the league. And they're going to get to the quarterback, but there's ways to mitigate some of that pass rush by moving the pocket, or like I was describing, play action pass. Just, it frees everything up. And we know from at least the one touchdown he threw here that beat us that Sam Darnold can throw on the run.
Right. I'm looking forward to seeing some of that. And that's one thing I was noticing. He's definitely mobile. I'm not going to say Sam Darnold's fast. He's mobile. He's a guy who can keep a play alive, and he's not a statue back there. So we'll see how that comes into play for him. Meanwhile, he's a man of experience, Dave. So we're going to talk to him about the Seahawks, OTAs, Mariners, everything on his mind. Paul Moyer is going to join us next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks head coach Mike Macdonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here. I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about. The guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new replacement right now. That's huge. $1,000 off. Quite the incentive for homeowners to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and it really is a great time to do it. These days are getting long, right? Sunsets after 8 o'clock. Crews can get your roof done quick. So take advantage now before demand spikes this summer, making those repairs costly and time-consuming as well. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from the website, riversideroofingllc.com, and then you'll meet with Brandon, that's Don's son. Just tell him you heard the message here on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket, and yes, a brand new roof over your head. And while you're there, ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the nation, and of course the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. Remember, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor Installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners are looking to get back into the win column after dropping Game 1 of their 3-game series to the Baltimore Orioles. They're going to send Emerson Hancock to the hill in Game 2 tonight. You can catch all the action of that one beginning at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, the Astros won last night, so they are a half game in front of the Mariners, sitting in first place in the AL West. They go up against the Pirates in Game 2 tonight. In Pittsburgh, other games set to get underway. Cubs on the road taking on the Nationals. Guardians in New York to face the Yankees. You've got the Rays hosting the Rangers. White Sox host the Tigers. Giants and Padres in San Diego. Dodgers and Mets in L.A. And one bit of news, it's, I guess, good news if you root for the underdog. The Rockies sweep a series. They swept the Marlins with a win today, 3-2. It's their first 3-game series sweep since September 8th of last season.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is the moment many wait for.
The most entertaining.
A man of wisdom, a man of experience, Dave.
The most informative.
To bring light to a dark subject, to bring positivity to a negative world.
The incredible Paul Moyer.
Moyer out.
He's here, everybody. He's with us each and every week as we come to you live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. He's joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. A man of experience, Dave. Paul Moyer is with us. How are you, man?
I know it all too well.
I am good. You guys are like everywhere, right? Your football, your baseball.
Yeah.
You guys are busy
guys.
We're
on tour. Yeah, it's a bit of a mini tour. We're going to be at T-Mobile tomorrow, broadcasting from there. So, yeah, it's been fun. And we start with the important stuff. Farrell Brown, good blocker or no? Just kidding.
We just had A.J. Barner.
He's not on our team anymore. As long as he's not on our team, and I like him as a person, but no. All
right. You just want to trash him now that he's gone. We had A.J. Barner in here, Paul. Is he a good blocker? I think he's a good blocker. What do you say?
I think he can become a good blocker. I think he's okay. I mean, last year, he was a rookie, so I didn't have huge expectations. There was a few times when they put him in motion and he was having to hit, either outside linebacker, defensive end, or so. He wasn't moving a lot of guys there. But he's a rookie. He's going to put on weight. I think he's going to be a good football player. I think he's going to be a much better wide receiver than we thought coming in. So, no, I have high hopes for him, but there's improvement to be had there, Dave.
Yeah. Well,
Paul's a tough grader when it comes to blocking.
Well, I know he was a coach for a while, but yeah, he's a 4th rounder out of Michigan, and I don't know, maybe I look at that part of it, and it was a little bit of a surprise. But I just watched him block on the backside a couple of times and maintain his block. He was very dedicated to just finishing, and a lot of times the play would cut back, and there he is making his block. So I think he has a chance to be one of the really good, like, end line, like, classic tight ends. So, and he's good.
I do
good
too.
kid.
I do too. I don't want you to think I'm just dogging him, but
I don't know why you hate the kid.
He's just dogging
me.
That's the point.
No, but if someone asked, is Dave Wyman a great whatever your rookie year. I would have said there's room for improvement, and you did, and you became a fantastic football player. And I'm not disappointed with Barner at all. I just said there's room for improvement in the blocking.
God, I thought he was going to say Dave could be a good broadcaster. I was like, oh, no, not that. Not that.
No,
Hey, Paul,
get carried away.
we're out there watching these guys in OTAs, and there's no tackling, there's no pads, they're not hitting. So I'm curious, just from your eye as a former player and a coach, what do you take away? Because I was telling Dave, for me, it's really hard to look at the trenches. It's hard to look at the O lineman, the D lineman, and go, wow, they had a good day or a bad day. That doesn't register with me. I'm sure it does with you guys. But what do you take away from these kind of sessions?
Not much. Listening to Coach McDonald, I thought he nailed it. This is about, look, they're putting in their installation and all the stuff they need to get ready to go into camp. This is who can take all that information and make it work on the field for him. So his thing is no mistakes. They're all athletic. They can all play football. But this game, when you get to the NFL, is so much faster. There's so much more that goes in. I think in college you can spend 20 hours a week with these guys. There is no limit how much time you can spend in the NFL. There is on how much you can spend on the field, but not in the film room, and how much you're putting your game, not even game plan. It's just, all of your plays and stuff into the practice. So this is about, man, are you guys professional? Can you grab everything that we're going to throw at you? They'll figure out the athletic ability afterwards. The one thing that I can get from these, I can get a little bit from the wide receivers and the corners. I want to see how they match up speed. The guys who are the athletes, I can get something from that. But it's about, hey, look, man, you better know what we're doing, because this thing goes fast, and we're only 6 weeks away from camp. You better be ready.
Hey, Paul, as a coach, how do you handle like aggression and things like that? Where do you draw the line? You love seeing your guys out there that are going hard and maybe get fights or whatever. Today, Mike stopped practice and was just kind of talking to guys about. It wasn't like screaming and yelling or anything like that, but it was just kind of like, hey, we got to take care of each other out there. But as a coach, you kind of love seeing that on one hand, but then on the other, it's like, where do you draw the line before, somebody gets hurt?
Well, I want to see, aggression, and you get that. Some of it's fake too, right? These guys come out, we used to call them leash, right? They're really tough and barking and want to attack something, and then you take the leash off and they cower behind their masters there. I've never seen a coach who loved fighting. I just want it to waste of time. I don't have that much time on the field with you, so I need every rep to count. 2, there's injuries. Wait, you're going to throw a punch on a helmet? Nice. So I know the guy's dumb. You're going to break your hand there. I've never met a coach. Every coach I ever had hated it. Now, in camp, you get it. These guys are all competing, so you're okay with it. But as Coach McDonald clearly says, hey, we don't have time for this. Every once in a while, okay, I kind of get it, but it better not last long. It better not spill into the locker room. We've seen it when they spill into the locker room, man. It can get ugly for a while. So no, I don't like it, other than great, they're men. I get it. You don't want to make too big of a deal of it either, because they are going to get in fights.
So when you look at this team going into year 2 under Mike McDonald, what do you think the realistic expectation is in the way of improvement? Like, Dave and I were talking about the defense. Certainly, the second half of the season, they were, I believe, in the top 10 in the NFL. I feel like it's fair to expect that's how they start the season. Now, I know there's some new players. There's not been a ton of turnover on that side of the ball, so I feel like that's a fair expectation. Am I expecting too much out of the gates with that? I don't think there should be a big ramp-up period for that side of the ball.
Well, you're hoping, and I think we have a better chance of starting this season where we left off last year, because we really didn't lose anybody. I'm looking at all of our start. There's a couple of guys that obviously we didn't bring back, but I don't think they were starters. But man, it's the NFL. There's so much that goes into it. There's game planning, it's matchups. You hope you're hitting on all cylinders once the season starts, but it doesn't always happen. But I think the biggest improvement is that one, we get off to a better start. There's no question in the running game offensively. And I've been listening and watching Coach McDonald. I think there's maybe the biggest improvement might even come from his side. And not that he was a bad coach last year. I think he was very good. He was very decisive in the decisions he makes. But you can tell that when he was asked about Darnold, will he be the starting quarterback or can someone unseat him? The way he addressed that, the confidence he had, he knows this is his team now. He's now been a head coach. He's been in front of the media every single day. He seems – I don't know. He's always been a confident guy, but I just think there's an edge about him this time where it's not just that he's confident. You go, oh, I believe in that confidence. I believe what you're saying because I've seen it. So I don't know. I think we'll have improvements throughout the board. We'll get off to a better start than we did last year defensively. I do believe we're going to be a better offense. I just think this coaching staff is going to be better together. There was too many things, with our offensive coordinator last year that have been popping up that you just go, wow. And that didn't just happen to the players, right? That also infiltrates to the coaches and how you're talking and are you all on the same page? So, yeah, again, I think this has a chance to be a really positive camp going into the season, and I think they know exactly what they want.
Hey, Paul, we've talked a little bit about this wide zone run game and just sort of some of the things that the problems it causes. Just I was saying as a linebacker, I mean you got offensive linemen kind of sprinting to the sidelines. It seems like almost, and it's sort of reinforces or emphasizes some of the gaps. I mean they get bigger, and then play action pass off of that. I'm just. You've kind of seen this offense before with, starting with the Broncos and kind of what San Francisco has run. What are some of the problems, especially in that wide zone, that it can bring about for defenses?
Well, I think one is it creates space. There's space for the running back to run through. I mean, you get guys, they're having to chase. Now, it doesn't always look good. San Francisco at times when they do some of their wide zone, I mean, they don't hit it, and then boom, they hit the big seam. So I just think it creates more space. It certainly helps for guys who are athletic. It helps. You get some help. With other guys. When you're running, ISO powers, things like that, it's just a different type of offense. But just because the team's a zone offense, it doesn't mean they're not going to do the other stuff. It just means this is going to be our emphasis going into it. We're going to run 60, 70, 80% of our runs here. They're going to have to mix it up. You can't be a one trick pony here. So a lot of it is just talk. They got to go out and execute it. It's still just football, Dave, right? I mean so I don't know. I never, as a defensive guy, particularly a DB, I didn't mind playing against that type of offense. I kind of like to be able to knife in, and I could be like a running back also and see where he was going to cut, his lanes to. But, I think for linebackers, it's probably a much different thing for a guy like you than someone's out in that secondary.
Paul, got to get your thoughts on the Mariners before we let you get out of here. What's the text exchange been like with the Abandoned boys there?
I think we're okay. It's the challenge. There's still some head scratching things going on. And again, I'm going to give Dan Wilson all the latitude there. He's the manager, and he knows what he wants to do there. But I just, just how we mix guys. Look, right now we got two rookie guys on the infield. That's a challenge. We got Polanco right now that in May batted 139 with one home run. And, one of my head scratchers is Dylan Moore right now. And Dylan really hasn't played since he went 3 for 4 in 2 doubles. And he's still batting .264 with 8 home runs, and he can run, and he's really not getting any playing time. So I think we're at that point. It's just, all right, we're kind of making some personnel changes here, little tweaks. Still need to get healthy with that pitch and staff. But we're a half game back.
Yep.
First play. Yeah, we're good. I mean, we're within striking distance. But that reversion right now, the amount of times we're not scoring 3 runs, the amount of times we're losing the opener, in these series, puts a lot of stress when you lose an opener when you're trying to win a series. So, a little frustration, but I'm camped, ready to go at 6:40 every night.
All right. Well, hopefully Emerson Hancock and more importantly, the offense steps up tonight. It'd be nice to see some support for your starter out there. And real quick, watching Kirby take that comebacker off apparently just caught part of his hand, hit him in the face. And I was telling David that, he came off as a tough guy. He kind of just walked off the field bleeding, and then he did his post-game presser, and people were asking him about it, and he was just like, yeah, no big deal. Yeah, I'm fine. All good. And it looked bad. That was over 100 miles an hour. That wasn't a little bloop shot that, bounced up and hit him. That was over 100 miles an hour.
I'm shocked he's okay. There was 2 things when I saw it. One, I did a little Warren Moon scream. Remember when he screamed on a good play? I did. I went, I cannot believe that ball bounced off his face all the way to first base. So for my first thing was I go, oh, this is bad. But now I'm like, okay, he walked off. He must have deflected it with his glove. No, it's his thumb, his hand. And I'm like, okay, that's his throwing hand. So I go, okay, if he's not dead and he's not laying on the ground, and I go, his thumb's broke, his hand's broke, and nothing. So that was a weird game. I was texting to our little band of boys going, man, this game just feels weird. I don't like the vibe of it, and we do that pretty much every other game anyways. But
I'm not digging the vibe.
Had that weird vibe, and then when he got hit, I go, man, we're not winning this game. Let's just get out of here. There's just a weird night.
Yeah. Hopefully, I haven't heard any updates as far as tests, but he seemed like no big deal. What else do you guys want to talk about?
You would think that would have hurt his thumb tremendously.
He looked at they asked him where did it hit you on the hand, and he holds up his hand like he's looking at it. He goes, I don't know. Here,
the hand area.
Yeah, somewhere in the hand. He was really just brushing it off like, yeah, no big deal. I'm fine.
No, look, he's a newfound respect. It's not like, when Haniger got hit and was out for 2 years. Oh, he got hit somewhere else. But still.
He also got hit in the face, too.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
No, newfound respect, love for the guy. That's awesome.
Paul, what about a guy that takes one in the stones and keeps playing? What about that? Is that guy tough?
You know what? If somebody got hit in the stones like that and played a whole game, yes, they're tough. But there's very few people out there would do that.
Yeah.
Did Paul finish the game?
Yes, he did.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I finished it. It happened before halftime. And then after the game, I did another scream. I went, ah!
We thought you were going to sound like that for the rest of your life.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then to the hospital you go, big boy. So,
boy. All right.
Yeah, that's all,
Paul, nobody's debating your toughness, Paul. That's a different level right there.
Well, he's got a little higher standard,
That's right.
Haven't gone through that.
Yeah. Well, Paul, as always, great stuff. You delivered like a champ, like a true champion. And we appreciate it. Bob. Have a great, as a man of experience, Dave. Have a great rest of your week, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
There you go. There's Paul Moyer with us each and every week. If you guys missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com.
The little scream he did there.
I know. We're going to have to clip those, Lefko. Make sure you keep those. You isolate those screams.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to maybe add that to the opening eventually.
Yeah, he gave you 2 of them there. So that was good. I didn't know he finished the game. He did it before the half and then went through halftime.
I would just say the older we get, the taller these tales become. So, yeah, because I've heard different versions. But
were you on the team at the time or no?
No, I was not.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, though. I think what happened was he was covering a tight end, and he went to, cross over, and the guy went the other way, and his knee came up and mashed
him right in the seeds.
Paul. Yeah. And yeah, so I think that's.
But he finished the game?
Yeah, I finished the game, and also, pumped out 2 beautiful children. He's got grandkids now. I mean,
yeah,
it's all working.
No worse for the wear, I guess.
All working for him. So yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful wife Heather, and
You think most of our listeners know that the legend of Paul and that play?
I don't
what
know.
Happens?
I'm sure there's some older folks there that are around. When I think it was 1985 or 6, so I wasn't there. But yeah, we heard about it, and then over the last 20 years, I probably heard about it 75, 100 times.
And the tail gets taller each time. I was laying on the ground, and they kept kicking me there, kicking me.
No, I mean, look, either way, that's one of the all-timers.
Is that it?
That's where you don't want to get hit.
Well, for me, that'd be a cautionary tale. Like, okay, I'm wearing a cup. I'm not taking that risk. It's amazing that nobody in football wears one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to say, like, I told that story the other day about when Joe Nash was laying on the ground to slow down the Bengals, and I got hit. And
you were legitimately
I was
hit.
on the ground, and I was like, oh, my God. And then they're like, no, there's 2 of them.
They're both faking it.
No, I'm really hurt. But, yeah, I mean, that was the only time. I don't
That's amazing. The only time in 9 years.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I don't – it was just kind of a fluke thing that happened.
It's the same with baseball players, by the way, except for catchers. I think catchers are the only ones that wear a cover.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it gets in the way, and it moves all kinds of different ways. And then I remember hearing stories about how if one of the boys gets loose, and then all of a sudden, you've got the hard piece of plastic. Yeah. I mean, it's just too bulky.
I'm getting sympathy pains now here.
Yeah.
No
now all of a sudden, every man listening is crossing his legs now.
We're all clenching right now. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Well, glad Paul made it. As you said, he had a family. He's still with us. He's still alive and kicking.
2 of the best looking kids you've ever seen. Yeah. I mean, he's doing okay.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, but Kirby, I mean, that really was something. I mean, you never know how somebody's going to act in a moment of crisis, right?
Right.
And that, to me, I mean, all of a sudden, that it probably happened so fast, maybe you didn't even process it, but it's coming at you 103 miles an hour. How are you supposed to, react to that? And he actually got his hand up there. So I wonder if his pitching coach is probably going, what are you doing putting your right hand up there?
Yeah, 102.7, by the way.
Yeah.
102.7 comebacker. Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. That was scary. That was like how Paul says, yeah, I don't like the vibe this game. He said every other game. This game's got a weird vibe. I'm not digging it. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Him and the Abandoned Boys. Let's peace out.
Did you call them Abandoned Boys or Abandoned Boys? Okay.
Abandoned Boys.
I don't know if he caught that.
I don't know. I think he did. But, yeah, that was a scary moment. Again, I haven't seen any sort of update. Have you seen anything, Lefko? Any updates on Kirby?
No, I haven't seen anything. I think
I'm looking at it.
Yesterday he said he was fine, so I don't think there's anything more of that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at our guy, Daniel Kramer. He tweeted out 24 minutes ago, George Kirby is playing catch in the outfield with Mariners pitching coach Pete Woodworth right now here at T-Mobile Park. No word yet on X-ray results or if he ended up having them done, but clearly a good sign. So
I'm surprised he didn't get stitches in his lip or anything. I mean, you could see afterwards it was still bloody in the press conference, but I don't think it needed stitches, which is just amazing. I mean, maybe he just his quickness just kind of, it was a glancing blow. I don't know, man, but man,
maybe the hand did slow it down just enough to avoid major damage. Kramer's got a quote from him last night saying, quote, just glad it kind of missed any of the bad spots on my face. So, I mean, imagine getting hit right in the nose, shattering your nose, or getting hit right in your front teeth and knocking those out. I mean, it could have been really ugly. So that's good. All right, coming up, one OTA observation caused quite a stir. We're going to dive into that in Best of the Rest. That is coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks OTAs continue, and Seattle Sports is there.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
This thing on?
It's on.
All day today with Bump and Stacy live at the VMAC at 9 a.m.
OTAs kicking off today.
Followed by Wyman and Bob right up to Mariners pregame at 5:30.
We'll talk about what stood out.
We are your eyes and ears on the sidelines at Seahawks OTAs. The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. They're a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. And when you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think windows, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, and this is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort, and they come with a double lifetime fully transferable warranty. And that means not only are you covered for glass breakage or some damaged seals, it's going to help you with your resale and the value of your home. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. So think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY, or just go to harleyexteriors.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with turbo power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Hey, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new replacement right now. That's huge. $1,000 off. Quite the incentive for homeowners to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and it really is a great time to do it. These days are getting long, right? Sunsets after 8 o'clock. Crews can get your roof done quick. So take advantage now before demand spikes this summer, making those repairs costly and time-consuming as well. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from the website, riversideroofingllc.com. And then you'll meet with Brandon, that's Don's son. Just tell him you heard the message here on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket, and yes, a brand new roof over your head. And while you're there, ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the nation, and of course the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. Remember, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
We know you love listening to us, but there are great discussions happening all over our station.
I need more Jake Bobo. I need more of them.
Because Jake Bobo is objectively fun to say.
Yeah, just not good at bats.
Let's tone it down.
It's time for the best of the rest.
How dare you?
It is time for Best of the Rest. We take a listen to some of the other conversations happening with Bump and Stacy, Brock and Salk, and then Wyman and I come in and render the proper opinion on it. Right?
Yeah.
That's usually how that goes.
We'll have the last word on this. We'll see if they're good or bad. You know,
that's exactly right.
It's going to be a little bit of both.
We'll start with Brock and Salk here, and they're discussing the poor impression, in their opinion, that Sam Darnold made on Monday at Seahawks OTAs.
Sam Darnold looked really good handing the ball off.
Oh, boy.
He looked really good handing the ball off.
I heard there were a few turnovers yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't good. It really was not good. I don't know what to make of it. I don't want to make too big a deal out of it.
Yeah, it's super early, but it's your first impression, right?
The first impression was not good, Maura, and it's hard. So, I mean, I will admit I've been kind of trying to talk myself into Sam Darnold here for the last few months. I was never a big Sam Darnold fan in college, and I give him credit because he really has created this incredible second part to his career. So I've been, kind of getting myself psyched for Sam Darnold, and the national media is like, well, you lost Geno, so you're bad, and now Geno's good, and now Darnold's bad, and I don't know. I've been bummed out about that, but trying to be like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. National media doesn't know anything. It's just names to them. But getting eyes on yesterday, it wasn't great. It was only one practice, and it's the only one I've attended, and I don't know what the other practices have looked like. Plenty of opportunities for Sam Darnold to look good. It doesn't matter what you look like on June 3rd. It matters what you look like in September, and obviously well beyond that. But it wasn't pretty.
Okay, I wrote down a stat here. I want to go. Remember from The Princess Bride with Billy Crystal, and his wife comes in and goes, liar, liar. Yeah. I'm going to call Salk on that because he said, I really don't want to make a big deal about it. But yes, you do. And you know what? I'll say this in Mike's defense. That's what we do, right? But I mean, it's just so early, and I think it's fueled a little bit by his career, and what happened at the end of last year, and the 15 games that were not every single one of them was phenomenal, but just a total turnaround and transformation, and reclamation, really, of his career. But then, the last two, and then you come out and watch him here, and he throws a pick or two, and whatever. And so I guess I sort of understand that, but I think still ultimately you have to go back. It's OTAs, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't. Maybe guys ran the wrong route.
So I was just going to say, we don't know. I wasn't there. You were there.
I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, so I didn't see him.
I think it was like a big ground, I was like, oh, they're out here in the screw around practice. Basically, nobody's wearing pads or anything. And
yeah, we don't know if a new player who he was throwing to, did he run the wrong way to Cooper? I mean, Cooper Kupp is new to this. MVS is new to this. I don't know who his target was, but they could have gone the one way. He's thinking they're going the other. I mean, look, we're watching players run around with sheets of paper in their hand, for God's sakes, trying to learn this offense. right? I mean, it's new to everybody, so I'm as skeptical as him. I mean, we've talked about this 8 million times. I'm waiting to see. I don't know. We talked a lot of Sam Darnold when he wasn't even a thought as a Seahawk because it was such a weird turnaround in his career. I'm still skeptical, waiting to see, but I'm not going to go, oh, he threw a pick in OTAs or 2 picks. He's going to be a disaster.
But I mean, look, I just think it's fodder for this time of year. I mean, otherwise everything's not really that interesting about the OTAs. They're not in pads. It's tough to talk about how they're going to run that outside zone and all that because nobody's in pads. We don't really know. So okay, I get it. I get why you would talk about it because that's the first. It's the hottest topic in town right now. But it's not a big deal.
Should there, and I know he asked, or Brock, I don't know who asked Mike McDonald the question, him or Brock, about, is Sam Darnold the starter, or should there be a competition, or how? I don't know how they phrased it. And that's when we played the cut yesterday of him going, well, that's a crazy question, or something along those lines. Should it be a competition, or do you like the idea of, no, he's the starter, the end, and we're working from there?
Well, I think you have to kind of go out in public and say, yeah, there's a reason why we have signed Sam Darnold. But I don't know how much, do you ever secretly sort of root for Drew Lock just because, what did he sign? A 1-2 year?
$5 million? $5 million? Yeah, I have to look
whatever.
It was football dollars. It was cheap.
Yeah. But I mean, it's always a competition. It's never set. You always want your guys, and that's not just Pete Carroll.
Yeah,
that's everybody. But I think, look, the intention is right now, Sam Darnold's your starting quarterback. He's going to get 90% of the reps, and But if it continues to go this way, yeah, they would probably put Drew Lock in there, or maybe look at the rookie and see, what he's got. But I mean, there's no reason to, I think, push the panic button on this, but
on OTAs.
Yeah, on the OTAs and no pads, all that. Yeah.
All right. Entry number 2 comes from Bump and Stacy. They were debating whether Devin Witherspoon should be on this list of the top 50 Seahawks players in franchise history.
Bump. I don't mean to be disrespectful with this question. It's going to sound disrespectful, but I don't mean that. Should Devin Witherspoon even be on this list of best defensive backs in franchise history?
If he's on the list, he should be on the list.
No. He should not be on this list.
Can I finish my thoughts?
If he's on the list, he should be on the list.
Thought? If he's on the list, he should be on the list. What I put him on the list is a different question.
Okay.
All right? No, I think he has more work to do. But this is a thing that you don't, take away from somebody. If he was voted to be on that list, enough people thought he's good enough to be on that list. I wasn't a voter. If I were a voter, I wouldn't vote for him to be on the list because he's only been in the league 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? There's more for him to do. It's based off of his potential and just the big plays that he has made. Does he have the type of skill to be as good as a Richard Sherman? Maybe. As a Marcus Trufant? Maybe. As a Earl Thomas? We'll see. No, it's a bit early, but I ain't taking no man off the list. I just want to put him on it. So if he's on the list, he deserves to be on the list. I wouldn't have voted for him to be on the list, though.
Okay. It is too early to have Devin Witherspoon on this list.
Too early.
It's way too early.
Yeah.
And I have all the hope in the world and, frankly, expectation in the world that Devin Witherspoon be one of the best defensive backs this team has ever had. That doesn't mean I don't think he certainly can be or that I'm not watching him as though he should be. You're a number 5 overall pick. So, yeah, the expectations are high. He's supremely talented. He's a great leader. He's a great personality. Love the kid, period. It's too early to be on this list.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so, too.
And we profess more love for Devin Witherspoon maybe than anybody. If I were to own a jersey, which I don't, it would be his. He's my favorite player on the team.
What number?
Is he 21?
Yeah. You know who else is that number? Paul Moyer.
Oh.
That's why you would get the 21
That's exactly
jersey.
why.
Yeah. It would say Moyer on the back.
It would say Wither Moyer. Wither son. I don't know. I'd combine the two. But, I mean, love the guy. But they're right. I mean, he met the criteria that they set out. You had to either make a Pro Bowl or be a part of a big play. He was a Pro Bowler. So, and the fans voted.
Right. So, I mean, there you have it. It just seems premature. It's like Shedeur Sanders getting his number retired at Colorado. I mean, come on. That happens. I mean, he's a great quarterback for Colorado and in their history. But I mean, it's that's for like what 15, 20. You know, guy comes back when you retire his jersey, and he's got a little gray.
Yeah,
a little gray in his beard. I mean, to me, it's just too soon. But it was. I think it shows a lot of people love Spoon, man.
Yeah.
I think the way he plays is really like nobody else.
Yeah.
So he's a very unique player. So, yeah, but I just think as far as this goes, this is something that happens down the road.
Yeah.
Like
let him get some time in there. I expect that he'll be, barring injury, he may end up being one of those Ring of Honor guys, one of those guys we talk about. Remember when he was a rookie and we were all excited? Look what he turned into. And I think he's absolutely got that in him, but let's let him get there. So, 2 years, little early, but he did meet
Does that make us old men, Bob? Is that what people are trying to do things the new way?
I don't know.
It doesn't really work.
Is Stacy an old woman and Bump an old man? I mean, they have the same opinion. So, all right, what if one stretch of the season had played out differently for one Mariners player? It's What If Wednesday. It's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk.
Coach McDonald, is there anything that could happen other than an injury between now and the beginning of the season that would lead to a different quarterback?
This is a crazy question. It's just not going to happen. Like, Sam's our starting quarterback. I think it's funny that the media is out there for like the first day, and all of a sudden they know exactly how good we're going to be and how good all the players are. And it's like, we don't even put on pads yet. That was kind of a crazy question.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
And this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Lonnie. Lonnie, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
We've been with the same insurance company for over 32 years. And my husband said, come on, let's at least try it. And that was the smartest thing we ever did because we save thousands, literally thousands a year on our insurance. They improved it. It cost me less, and it was a higher value. I can't say enough good things about Scott because everything that he said he'd do, he did.
What do you tell your friends they can expect when they make the call to First Mark?
An easy, profitable, and actually pleasant call. They genuinely are trying to help you, and you can't beat that. We were silly to wait so long. A couple other friends that have called, too, they said, why didn't you tell us about this sooner?
You see, Lonnie did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Take advantage of Lake Washington Windows hot savings. $750 off per window and $1,500 off per door with leak armor installation. And enjoy 12-month same-as-cash financing only through June. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
I'm Chris Davis, former King County prosecutor and founder of the Davis Law Group in Seattle. If you've been injured in a crash caused by impaired or drunk drivers, there are special considerations that need to be taken to protect your legal rights. Davis Law Group's team of investigators and lawyers know how to properly investigate DUI crashes and identify all parties who might be legally responsible for your injuries and damages. Call Davis Law Group at 206-888-8888 or get my free book at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code Joe Q. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Spring is back. Our bats are back. Is your postnasal drip and congestion back as well? Hi, this is Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We are a proud national center of excellence for helping hundreds of patients with Rynair. For those of you sick of searching for another allergy medication, Rynair is a minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip, congestion, and stuffiness after only one treatment. Come see us in Auburn or Federal Way. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Well, here in our region, it's really common for homes to have damaged insulation or even no insulation at all in their crawl space or attic. Well, in the winter, that'll make your home cold and drafty. And in the summer months, it can turn your home into an oven. It's Mike Salk here, and utility companies have special incentives right now to help with the cost of having your home properly insulated, including a once-in-a-lifetime rebate from Puget Sound Energy. So if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yes, they will cover up to 95% of the cost. And if you're anything like me, you love the idea of somebody else paying to improve your home, add value to it, and save you money along the way. How good does that sound? Don't wait. Call Crawl Pros to learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free, and then what energy rebates you're eligible for. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
What? It's time for What If Wednesday.
Coach would have put me in fourth quarter. We'd have been state champions, no doubt.
Wyman and Bob rewrite the scripts of major moves and moments in sports every Wednesday afternoon. Now step into an alternative reality with Wyman and Bob.
It is What If Wednesday, presented by Mazda of Everett. Today's What If question: what if, Dave, Jorge Polanco hadn't had his hot start to the season? March and April, he had 22 games, 9 home runs, 25 runs driven in, combined 384 on base, or 384 average, 418 on base, 808 slug. Would you be more or less likely to think this current stretch is just a slump, or what you might get for the rest of the season? Because it's been so extreme to go from that, and then you look at what he did in the month of May: a $139, 205 on base, 208 slug, and a 413 OPS. And so far, 2 games in June, he's 1 for 8, hitting 125. I mean,
it's a tale of 2 different players. I mean, yeah, it's 22 games, and then I had mine through 20 games in May, but just because it was closer comparison. But yeah. It's just from 384 to 145 is what I have. But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. The other thing is, I remember when he had the home runs going at that time, he was one of the only guys on the list that had single-digit strikeouts. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, you know, he's striking out, and it's just an entirely different thing. So, and look, nobody was expected him to be at the 384 mark. Right? I mean, no way. So
no, I would when they brought him back, I was disappointed. I was like, really, this is your big move of the offseason? Seriously, you're bringing back a guy who's who's in his 30s, who's had injuries and was a failure for you last year. He did, and then all right, he was injured. All right, how much of a difference is that going to make? Well, April, it made a world of difference. He was hitting 379 for the entire month of April, 422 on base. I mean, it was just off the charts, and we're going, okay, he's not going to sustain that, but if he can be a 250, 260 guy and, getting on base at a 350 clip, something like that, I'll sign up for that every single day of the week. But he went hard the other direction and has been just brutal. I mean, just brutal, and people are texting it, well, he's clearly still hurt. Well, they're running him out there. I don't think they're running him out there if they think he's diminished in any way. And if they're going to bat him from the right side, which they're not doing tonight, sounds like he's not in the lineup tonight. They've toyed with the right side, and he's there for a game, then he's not. I don't know what the deal is with that. So he's obviously not 100%, but they're still running him out there.
Well, I hope he is hurt. I mean, again, in baseball, a lot of times we hear, okay, this guy's going to be down one night, whatever. And a lot of times, I always tell the D. Gordon story that I thought he had something going on, but then he told us, he goes, last year, the entire second half of the season, my foot felt like it was on fire the entire time. So I'm hoping that's what it is with Polanco. And, that maybe there's something going on that we didn't really know about. Remember when it was at Minnesota that they got him in the trade? Mm-hmm. Was it Topa that we traded there?
Topa's there, yeah.
I remember talking to the media people in Minnesota, like, this guy is a warrior. He'll play through the pain. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe, he shouldn't be out there. And, he's just kind of going, I'm fine. I feel okay.
Well, if they're going to run him out, they need to drop him in the lineup. You can't be putting him in the 2-hole.
Not anymore.
It's not been good. And I don't, whether it's injury, whether he's in his head, he's slumping, he's, whatever the issue is. I mean, he was in the 2-hole last night. He did have a base hit.
Yeah.
And I'll give him this. He hit the ball hard a couple of times. Hit it right at the first baseman, but it seemed like good contact, and he squared it up a bit, but we'll see if that turns into anything. But I think if he's dealing with the injury that's impacting what we saw in April, that it's gotten worse, and you're still going to run him out there, then you need to drop him in the lineup. At least do that. And I think Paul brought up a good point. I hadn't even been really paying attention to Dylan Moore not being in the lineup. So I don't know if he's totally healthy and they're just saying, hey, we want to get, Cole Young in there at second. We got Ben at third. We like our outfield defense with obviously with Tavares out there, and we're not going to sit a Rosarena. He's should be one of our bigger bats, and maybe they're just having a hard time finding a spot for Dylan Moore. I don't know, but yeah, you got to, as far as Polanco goes, though, if you're going to run him out there, then let him hit 7th, 8th, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So we have the lineup, right? Is that what looks like? Crawford, Raleigh, Rodriguez, Rosarena, Garver, Moore, Dylan Moore. There's Demo right there, number 6, if this is to be believed here. I think it's the MLB website. And then you mentioned earlier Solano, Young, and then Williamson. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of interesting that that Demo's been absent and didn't really notice him. And the thing with him, I was kind of stuck on, was that he's already committed 5 errors. I mean, that's the most errors he's had in a season. Now, he's not playing every single game, but, man, there was a couple of 135-game years or, somewhere around there where he didn't have more than 5 errors. So,
well, and he had a play the other night that they didn't score an error, but it just basically went right under his glove. Where you're just like, you got to make that play, dude. I mean, he wasn't ranging way to his right or way to his left. It was right at him. It was like he was expecting a hop that didn't happen. It just goes into the outfield, and you're like, what?
But I mean, you have to say that's very un-Demo-like, right?
Yeah, he's not had a good defensive season.
Yeah,
this is not for a guy coming off a Gold Glove season last year. It's been a rough go for him defensively this year. So yeah, he just had that. That might have been the last game he played. He just. I don't know what he was expecting, a short hop. It didn't happen. Ball just rolled right under his glove into the outfield. We saw it last night with JP. That should have been an error. That was an error. That was, you talk about hometown scoring. Giving that guy a base hit on that was absurd. But you know,
and maybe Dan was like sensing that that Demo's struggling and just give him some time off. So back in the lineup tonight though. So
where do they have him playing? What position?
They have him at right field.
Oh, okay. So they give it to Tavares tonight up
Their
there.
boy Donnie Barrels is at first base.
Yeah, my boy. Well, let's quickly. Adam Jude was on with Brock and Salk, and they asked him whether Polanco is playing through an injury right now.
Yeah, again, you touched on Polanco too. It is kind of a mystery. I think Polanco's been pretty sensitive talking about it, and I understand he's had to deal with it the last few years of his career. A lot of different injuries, a lot of nagging things. The oblique thing that popped up in early April, I think has lingered. I will say I watched him take a couple rounds swinging right-handed yesterday before the game, and he was absolutely knocking lasers all over the park. He hit one just below the upper deck in left field too, and I hadn't seen that in a while too.
Good.
So maybe that's a good sign that he's feeling a lot better.
Yeah, so everything says he's feeling as good as he's felt. He's obviously not 100% if he's not in there every night hitting from either side of the plate, but he's out there taking cuts right-handed. I think if he were really struggling with injury, they'd be like, no. You're hitting left-handed, and that is it. That is all.
Well, the Mariners, well, at least with their pitching staff anyway, have always been very good at that, just anticipating, hey, let's give this guy a break.
All right, coming up, time to catch up with another top 50 Seahawks player of all time. You know him, you love him. Eugene Robinson is going to join us next with Wyman and Bob, live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks OTAs continue, and Seattle Sports is there.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
This thing on?
It's on.
All day today with Bump and Stacy live at the VMAC at 9 a.m.
So OTAs kicking off today.
Followed by Wyman and Bob right up to Mariners pregame at 5:30.
We'll talk about what stood out.
We are your eyes and ears on the sidelines at Seahawks OTAs. The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners are now in second place in the AL West by virtue of their loss last night in Game 1 of their series with the Orioles. The Astros win their first game in their series with the Pittsburgh Pirates, so they are up by a half game on the Mariners, who look to get things corrected tonight when they send Emerson Hancock to the hill in Game number 2. You can catch all the action starting at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Some of the finals from earlier today, the Rockies won their third in a row. In fact, it's their first series sweep, 3-game series sweep, since September 8th of 2024. They beat the Marlins today 3-2 to complete that sweep. Reds fall to the Brewers 9-1 in Cincinnati. The Red Sox 11-9 over the Angels. Those are earlier today. Games going on right now. Astros and Pirates top of the second. They're scoreless. They're headed to the top of the second in Washington. Cubs and Nationals scoreless. And the Diamondbacks and Braves are in the midst of a rain delay in Atlanta right now. No score in that one.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, Dave, we've been talking a lot about the Seahawks top 50 greatest players of all time, regardless of position. The fans voted on it. It was up on the website. They've been unveiling the top 50 position group by position group, and they did defensive backs, and we had a chance to see a name that we knew would be in there. I don't think this is a big surprise, but it's still an honor to talk to him, and I'm sure it's an honor for him to be named one of the top 50 greatest Seahawks of all time. He's on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook hotline with us. The one, the only Eugene Robinson is back. Eugene, how are you, man?
Hey, Bob, I'm doing wonderful, Bob. Thank you very much. Thanks for the intro.
You got it. You deserve it. And what's that? I mean, you're a man that's you've received a lot of accolades, a lot of praise throughout your life, your career. What does this one mean to you?
This is really special. You know what? My time in Seattle has been incredible from '85 to '95, and the fact that I was mentored by Dave Brown, who I know is the corner that's in, and also mentored by Ken Easley. it's only fitting that I'm in there with them, and and to be counted among those guys. I mean, as far as the hitting, the ferocity, the interceptions, be counted among those guys. I feel very, very privileged to be voted in that 50. I mean, this is a great honor, and I'm humbled.
Well, Gene, you were an awesome free safety, man. I mean, you had 9 interceptions one year, 57 total interceptions. That's
how many more is that than you?
That's let's see. Let me do the math here. He got me by just a slim margin of 54 interceptions. But Eugene, I mean, the other thing is you were all over the field. I remember there was 2 years where I was like, I think I might be the leading tackler. Nope. Eugene always had like 3, 4 more. But hey, tell us about. You mentioned Dave Brown, and I talked a lot about what we called the first version of the Legion of Boom, and that was Dave Brown, John Harris, and some of those older guys.
Harris, Dave Brown, Keith Simpson. That was the first Legion of Boom, if you will.
Kenny Easley. So tell us, did you come in contact with? I know you played a little bit with Dave Brown, but how about the other guys? And what did you learn?
In '85, when I first got there, John Harris was the free safety, Ken Easley, strong safety, Keith Simpson and Terry Taylor were corners, but Dave Brown was that left corner, and he was an anchor there. And every one of those guys would get interceptions. They all got interceptions all the time, and they always were around the ball. And I remember asking John Harris, I said, dude, why are you always around the ball? And he told me, football is an academic game. It's about the academics of football. If you know where to be academically, he said, then you can use your skill. But if you don't know where to be, now you better have great skill or you won't make plays. And so I prided myself on studying to make sure I knew where to be at. And when I would study, I would go over to Dave Brown's house every Wednesday and Thursday and break down tape on that VHS tape that was like 6-hour tape. And so I'll break down film on that. And I had the encouragement of watching those guys play and watching them play as a group and watching them play off each other and watching them compliment each other. It was phenomenal. And I was like, man, I need to be a part of this, and I need to soak up as much information as I can while I have my time here with them. I didn't know how long I was going to last, but to be counting them on Ken Easley was ferocious. Everybody talks about Cam Chancellor, and I know he's a ferocious hitter, but Ken Easley was like downright mean, dude. He was mean, and Ken Easley had like 40 interceptions in his career. John Harris, 50 interceptions. Dave Brown, 62. Myself, 57. I mean, when you think about that, Keith Simpson was maybe around 20. If you talk about that original Legion of Boom, all they did was get interceptions. All they did was make plays, and it was built on that secondary. The secondary was like the hub and the team, if you will, from that standpoint. And they've always had a great secondary, and I was among those guys and played among those guys, and I counted a privilege. They were outstanding. John Harris doesn't get the credit he deserves, but I'm going to give John Harris his flowers. He was absolutely incredible free safety.
Gene, your first year, as you said, 85, you didn't start, according to Pro Football Reference, you played 16 games, but you didn't start any. You still had 2 picks that year. What was your rookie year like for you? Do you remember? Were you overwhelmed? Were you in awe? Were you nervous, scared? How long did it take before you felt at home?
Hey, Dave, I was just so nervous. Didn't want to make a mistake. I remember Chuck Knox coming up to me when I made a mistake on special teams, and I think it was Randall Morris. Randall Morris got leveled on a kickoff return, and I was supposed to convert it, and I didn't. I can hear Rusty Tillman on the sideline go, Eugene Robinson! He's screaming my name. I'm going, oh, man, I think that was my guy. And they took my man out on a stretcher with the ambulance. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. The next day, Monday, Chuck Knox comes up to me and says, hey, I can get anybody to play your position. Anybody off the street. He said, a word to the wise is sufficient. You better pick it up. Ooh. That's all he said to me the entire year. He just told me, I'm about to fire you, and you about to get fired because you got a guy hurt. And so he said, you better know what you're doing next time and make sure that you convert and make sure that you make the right play. I said, man, I studied, I read, I made sure I was not going to make a mistake again. So that year, I was basically a special teams player, and I would play on third down, come in as a a weak side linebacker in our dime defense and cover the third or fourth receiver. So I was that guy. And then when Ken Easley and Paul Moyer got hurt on the very same play, the third to last game of the season, they bring me in against Kansas City. And that's when I started. And when I started, I ended up getting an interception, having maybe just 12 tackles and a forced fumble, something like that. Had crazy stats in the second half. And next thing you know, I'm the guy.
Hey, tell us a little bit about, you just brought back some memories for me with Chuck Knox. And, you know, I used to say, he's like, I've never been to the Vatican or to the Louvre or anything like that. But, you know, they said that, or I used to say that he was like the Mona Lisa. Mm-hmm. Like wherever you stand, he's looking at you.
The eyes are following.
Yeah, exactly. And like you always thought Chuck was talking about you, you know, and he would always say, I don't remember if you remember this, Eugene. He'd go, this guy over here, you know, he thinks he's watching film. He's just watching the game. And I'm like, oh, damn, maybe that's me, you know, or this guy over here. And you always thought he was talking about you, but like that was like the one guy you didn't want to hear from, right?
That's the one guy. I'm telling you, Chuck Knox would do these kind of Chuck Knoxism. He's like this. He said, don't tell me what you're going to do. He said, just bring the ship on in now, see? Yeah. He said, well, I got this one guy over here. He's holding the man. You're holding. And he's looking around, and he had an uncanny way of making incredible eye contact with everybody. And I'm sitting there going like this. I'm not on the offensive line. I didn't hold anybody. I'm not on the offensive line. But you thought he was talking to you. And so he would say like this. He would always say something like, that's third grade Swickley. I'm like, third grade Swickley? What's he talking about? He learned this in the third grade in Swickley, Pennsylvania, to go ahead and be deep as the deepest and wide as the widest. And that's what he told me. He said, look, son, you got to be deep as the deepest, wide as the widest. That's third grade Swickley. That's third grade Swickley. I'm going, is he talking to me? I think he's talking to me. And everybody would say the same thing. I think Chuck was talking to me. I'm like, he had this uncanny way. And believe it or not, when I speak to this day, when I do speaking engagements, I do a lot of Chuck mannerisms and a lot of things that Chuck would do. I would make incredible eye contact with everybody, and I would talk directly to a group of people, and you would think that I'm talking to you specifically. I learned that from Chuck Knox. Yeah. And then I would go into that little whisper he would do, and every time when I whisper, everybody would almost automatically lean in to hear what he's got to say. And so I would do that. So I learned a lot of my speaking from Chuck Knox, how he would handle the team. And that's what I learned. And from Ken Easley, from Steve Largent, from Jeff Kemp, we all would say the same thing. I think Chuck was talking about me, but I know I wasn't holding.
Hey, Gene, I mean, 16 years in this league, and I'm looking at your game. I mean, you were a guy that just didn't miss time. You were out there game in, game out. Is there a moment? I know you had 3 Pro Bowls under your belt. Is there a moment, a game, a season that you reflect on that say that was the peak? That's when I felt the best. That's when I played the best. That's the one I remember the most. I cling to the most. Any point in your career stand out that way?
Yeah, there was one game against the Pittsburgh Steelers that it was a cold game, and Neil O'Donnell was the quarterback, and we're playing up in Pittsburgh, and I had 3 interceptions, and I was fooling the quarterback, Neil O'Donnell, with my movement. Like, if I was going to blitz, I would act like I'm not going to blitz, and I don't blitz. And if I was going to drop in coverage, I'm going to act like I'm going to blitz. Or if I'm going to go move to the middle of the field in third coverage, I would be like in the cover 2 where I'm going to look like half field. And so I would get there, and the fact that I was able to fool him 3 consecutive times and get 3 interceptions that game, that was big for my career because it started to establish me as, man, this guy is a guy who not only studies the game, but a guy who's able to go ahead and get interceptions. So that year, I forget what year it was, maybe 1993. I think that year, maybe it was 93.
Yeah, you had 9 picks that year.
Yeah, I said that year against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I kind of felt like, oh, man, you know, I belong. And there was another time against the Raiders when Ronnie Lott was playing for the Raiders. I got an interception against Alexander Wright, and it was Jay Schroeder threw this ball about maybe 65 yards down the field on a post. I dive out, I catch the ball, I run it back about 40-something yards, and as I get back, I look, and I'm a big Ronnie Lott fan. Ronnie Lott was looking at me, and he gave me a thumbs up from the sideline.
Oh,
and I said to myself,
wow.
I said, man, that's Ronnie Lott. Now, Ronnie Lott is one of my favorite safeties. He and Ken Easley are my two favorite safeties. Yeah. And for him to do that in that game, he kind of like, it was like a coordination. It was like saying, man, Gene, you're that guy. Yeah. And so when I believe that I was that guy now, and I believe that there was no ball that I shouldn't be able to get. There's no play I shouldn't be able to make. There's no tackle I shouldn't be able to make. There's nowhere that I should be fooled. I started to believe that, and my game just changed.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who did that for me. You. I remember my first year starting, Gene, 1988, and we were getting ready to play the Patriots, and they had some kind of, seam route. And so I covered it every time in practice, and I think I had like 3 interceptions in practice. And I remember before the game, you getting up and pointing to me and going, this man had 3 interceptions, and I was like, that was my first year as a starter, and I was like, oh, man, I'm one of them now. I mean, that was one of those moments for me. And I don't know. I mean, when did you get a sense that you had that kind of leadership ability? I mean, you played for a long time and some Pro Bowls, but when did you? I mean, if you ask me, I would say 1988 because that was the year that happened. But what do you think?
So I guess I think when the 1993 and 92 season going to 93 and 93 and going to 94, I played extremely well. And I started getting recognition from other safeties across the league and from other coaches of being that guy. Yeah. And even when I got traded to Green Bay, and none of those guys knew me, when I would be in practice and I'm getting interceptions, they'd go like this, hey, man, who is this cat right here? And they because I thought I was just an old guy. Right. And so from that standpoint, my validation probably came for me in 1992, around that season, where I was always playing a really good ball, but my game just went to a different level. It went to a different level academically, and I just thought, Dave, I could make every play. Every play indeed. There's no play I thought I couldn't make, and I didn't think that there was no running back I couldn't tackle, no quarterback I couldn't sack. I just said, I'm that guy, and I'm going to make these plays. And when I started to believe that and feel that way, it just changed. It changed my entire game. My entire game changed. And from every team I played on, from Atlanta to Seattle to Green Bay, or even with Carolina, my game just changed, and I felt like I was that guy.
What was that like to be traded? You were with the Seahawks for 11 seasons, and then you get traded to Green Bay. In your first year, I'm looking at your number. You had 6 picks your first year in Green Bay, so you had a nice year. Your first year there. Was that a shock? Did you know it was coming? How did that go down?
Well, see, Reggie White calls me up. He calls me up during the end of that season, the 95 season, and says, Gino, do you want to go? You want to play for the Green Bay Packers? I said, man, Reggie, who's this? Reggie? I said, Reggie, you just can't call people up and ask them because they play for their team. I said, it doesn't work that way, man. You go through a process. He said, man, the Lord told me to tell you you're going to be a Green Bay Packers. Right? So then I went to the management. I said, hey, man, Reggie White gave me a call and said that I was going to be on the Green Bay Packers, that they were going to trade for me. They said, no, Gene, there's no truth to that. And that was the time that we got Dennis Erickson came in the regime. Darrell Williams was his guy. Robert Blackman. I knew they couldn't keep 3 top safeties. So the next thing you know, I got traded to Green Bay. And so when I got down to Green Bay and I got traded to Green Bay, I said, I know these guys don't know me. They think I'm just an old guy. They think I'm just a guy that's like, hey, he's a throwaway. He's a stopgap. I'm going to show these cats that I'm that dude. And so in practice, when we have live sessions, I would blow cats up. They're like, man, that dude hit that hard. I'm like, yeah, I can hit. And I'm getting interceptions. I'm doing all this stuff. And they go like this, hold up, who is this dude? And I told them this. I said, look, this is what I do. I'm going to get people in the right position, Leroy Butler. I'm going to get you in the right position. I'm going to get the corners in the right position, and we're going to make plays on the ball. That's what we're going to do. I said, you guys only had like 9 interceptions last year. I said, we're going to change that whole narrative. We're going to have about 30 interceptions. And I would make them stay after practice, and we would catch them in the judging machine. And next thing you know, we had like 32 picks that year.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. The only thing Eugene couldn't do was play a saxophone. But other than that,
hey, Wyman, I could play it now, and I got so much better at it too, Wyman.
I'm just teasing you. You had to start somewhere, and
we played in the locker room.
You start playing in the dorms, and And I mean, I'm just joking. It wasn't that bad, but I know
it wasn't that bad.
I know that you stayed on it, and of course, just like the competitor you are, you got good at it, right?
Yeah, so that's what I did. I mean, I'm always been so competitive, and here's the other thing. I've always been an underdog. You know, when I first came into the league, I weighed like 175 to 80 pounds, and Steve Larger used to always say, "Man, does your mother know that you're here?" You know, I look like I'm about 15 years old, and so it's like, man, this guy looks like he shouldn't be here. And so I'm a free agent. I'm not supposed to be there, and I'm like, I got to go ahead and make my mark. And I had to make my mark special teams, and the fact that I was a hard-working guy, and then I was much faster on the field than I was just in my regular 40 times. Rusty Tillman loved me because I was always making plays for him. He's like, man, I want Robinson here. I'm making plays. Whether I was on the defense or offensive side of the ball, I was always making plays, and I loved it.
Well, Gene, I got to think that one of the more satisfying things in your career had to be your first year in Atlanta. You were a Pro Bowler at the age of 35 years old, which in football years, you're an old guy. In life, obviously a very young man, but that had to be incredibly sad. You had 4 picks that year for the Falcons, your first year there. You're a Pro Bowler. How satisfying was that?
Man, it was exciting. I mean, we ended up going to the Super Bowl that year, but what was exciting there is that those guys didn't know me, and they had no idea. They were good. I mean, they had a really good front. They had a good linebacking core, but our secondary, we was kind of like a little hodgepodge. It was me, Will White, Ray Buchanan, Rodney Butler. But we had some guys that we were good, but we didn't play together. And so when I got there, I'm like, hey, we're gonna play together. We're gonna go ahead and catch the ball. So I would make people catch the ball after practice. I would make sure that we studied, and I would make sure I said, look, if I call a play, if I change this play, just trust me. Just do what I'm telling you to do. Just trust me. I said, and if you don't make the tackle, I guarantee I'm going to make the tackle. Guarantee. And so they trusted me. And I would always say, hey, we're about to go ahead and bust people up. We're going to go ahead and stuff a mud hole on them. We're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to do this. I said, just take out the lead and follow. Yeah. And they believed in me.
Yeah, well, it paid off. A Super Bowl appearance and then a Pro Bowl appearance, obviously, at the age of 35. Very cool. Eugene Robinson, one of the greatest Seahawks of all time, one of the top 50. It's official. He's one of the top 50 to ever put on that Seahawks uniform, and he's been our guest here. Gene, always a pleasure to speak with you. Congratulations on this honor. It is well-deserved, and I know the fans love hearing from you. And Dave is always speaking incredibly highly of you anytime I bring up your name. So it's really cool to get you on the show, as always, and really appreciate your time.
Anytime you want me on the show, I'm there. Thanks, Wyman. I appreciate you, dog. Love you, dog.
Love you, buddy. All right.
All right, buddy. All right, take care, buddy.
There you go. There he is, everybody. Eugene Robinson, one of the top 50 Seahawks of all time. If you guys just tuned in, didn't catch all of that, really good stuff from him. I love hearing the old stories. I love hearing that stuff about, running down the field and Ronnie Lott gives me the thumbs. I mean, that's kind of crazy, a guy in the opposition giving you a thumbs up as you're running it back.
Oh, man. Lesser degree, but remember Gary Reasons? He was part of that New York. Name, yeah. It was the New York Giants, and he was with LT and
Harry Carson
and those guys. And so he was kind of the underdog, but they had 4 really good linebackers. We played the Giants, and he comes over after the game and says, hey, man, I just want you to know I've seen you on film, and I think you do a good job on the inside. And I was like, wow.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, my God. It was like getting a bonus check.
That was better than, what's his name, who winked at you? Who was that?
Oh, Elway.
No. There was I'm blanking on his name. Millen, right? Was it Millen?
Oh, Matt Millen? Yeah.
Did he wink at you like you were staring at him?
Well,
oh my
I was
God.
a rookie that year. Yeah, and I was looking at him going, wow, look at him. And then he looks over and winks at me, and I'm like, what am I doing, man? I'm sitting here. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't seek out Gary Reasons. He just came up to me. And, because when you go and look at, you have similar opponents, you end up watching the other defensive guys,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, now, like Gene said, with Ronnie Lott giving it, because Ronnie Lott was the baddest dude of all time. And one of the, once again, to our texter, one of the nicest guys. Honestly, like when I got traded to the 49ers and failed the physical and came back, and I saw Ronnie Lott 4 years later, and he was like, hey, Dave, how you doing? I mean, he remembered my name and everything, and I was like, wow. Maybe he thought I was somebody else.
Yeah,
but
Dave's a common name.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like Gene said, that is getting that kind of a compliment from your peers. Is just, I mean, you can't buy that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I love those stories, man. I love that stuff. Again, if you guys just tuned in, didn't catch that conversation with Eugene Robinson, one of the top 50 Seahawks. It's official, one of the top 50 ever. Go back and check that out on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, speaking of the top 50, we are officially protesting the Seahawks' latest position group that was unveiled as part of their top 50. We'll tell you what that's about coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here. And I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about. The guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Jet City Harley sign and ride event. No cash down needed. Rates as low as 1.49% APR on select Harleys. Save thousands on interest at Jet City Harley Davidson. On approved credit on new 2024 Lowrider ST, Lowrider S, or Road Glide 3 models. See dealer for details.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Once again, our thanks to Eugene Robinson, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you're just tuning in and missed that conversation, really, really cool conversation. We've had him on before, but he was fired up today, and obviously he's very honored by being named one of the top 50 Seahawks of all time. What the Seahawks have been doing to celebrate their 50th year as an organization. They let the fans vote. They had the players up on the website, and you were able to vote. He made it, and they've been unveiling the top 50 position group by position group. Right. And so it's not all at once. We don't know who the quarterbacks or wide receivers are yet. There's still 11 spots. So 39 of the 50 spots have already been unveiled. So there's 11 left, and we haven't had quarterbacks, receivers, or tight ends yet.
Right. Yeah, and tight end is one where, like, well, there could be one, maybe.
Well, and who would it be? Because, as we said, your statistical leader, the greatest tight end in the history of the Seahawks organization by stats is Jimmy Graham,
right?
Which I know a lot of people are thinking.
I don't think anybody would vote for him.
No, I mean, he was on there, but
yeah.
I mean, is it going to be Zach Miller or Mike Tice, or they just haven't had that? Yeah. With all due respect to Mike Tice, Zach Miller was a great player. He wasn't here very long, but yeah, it's a position. It's like left field for the Mariners. I compare it to. You've never had that guy that was the standard, the guy that was just that pillar that was there forever and established themselves. You've had decent players, but never that guy. So
yeah, I have to say, the players that have gotten in, I think they got it right. I think the fans got it right.
Until now, Dave. Because,
even now, Bob.
No, I won't hear it, Dave. Because today they unveiled the linebackers and the specialists. Now let's start with the specialists, because I know you love those guys.
Yeah.
Only two.
Yeah, and
they're both punters.
That was a weird choice there.
Michael Dixon, who's a current player, obviously, and he's phenomenal. And John Ryan, who was great. We love John Ryan, and he had some great moments, and he was great. But no kicker, no Norm Johnson, no Hauschka, no Casey, no.
Yeah. Well, and I was touting Norm Johnson. Of course, I thought he would be there, and then. Yeah, I mean, I think it's strange that you have a couple of punters. I don't disagree with John Ryan, though. He was a great Seahawk, but I thought Hauschka would be there just because of the Super Bowl year, and
him or Norm I thought would have been the likely candidate there, but no kicker has been, and maybe there'll be no tight end.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously, we'll see how it plays out. But
I was going to say the kicker part. I probably won't lose much sleep over that one.
You're not pounding the desk over that. But yeah, so the specialists that were unveiled today, in case you missed it, Michael Dixon and John Ryan, 2 punters, no kickers, made the group. Now the other group, the linebackers, and you guys text in who you think is missing from this list. There's a very obvious omission. We'll start with the list here: Chad Brown, okay, Keith Butler. I don't remember Keith, but through your stories, I feel like I know him, and he was obviously huge and an influence on you and taking you under his wing. So Keith Butler, Rufus Porter, who you've talked a lot about, Lofa, who is your favorite Seahawk of all time. Yep. Great guy, nice guy. Bobby Wagner, of course. KJ Wright, of course. Mm-hmm. And then Fred with 2 Ds, Young, who I know the name. I don't remember watching him play or anything, but there's a very serious omission here in one David Wyman. How did that not happen?
Listen, I'll say this. I honestly, I was telling my wife this, that I was like, I would be so grateful if I did make the list, but also, honestly, I'd be embarrassed if I was in there and not Lofa or Keith Butler or somebody like that. So, and that's why I say I'm being honest, honestly.
What if we swap you out for Fred Young? With all due respect, I just have never seen him play. I don't remember him, and as you said, there might have been a lot of old people voting. So
like me.
Was he pre you? Was he there before you?
Well, Fred was there from 84 to 90. In the league until 90, but I played with him in 87. My rookie year, and I didn't even really play that year. But I just remember the year before that in a Monday Night Football game, him just splattering a Raider returner on a kickoff. And so he was a Pro Bowler, I think, a couple of years for, just special teams. And then, certainly his first year, he was a kid from New Mexico. It's not like they're pumping out a bunch of, great players out of New Mexico in 1985. And
how many are coming out of Reno? Come on, man.
But yeah, he was a 4-time Pro Bowler, and I love that Rufus got on there. And Ruf started off as same thing as Freddie Young,
special teamer
extraordinaire, man. He was so fast. Like if you had like his flying 40, so like if you give him a 10-yard head start on a 40-yard dash, I don't think there's anybody that he couldn't have run down. Rufus. So yeah, Ruf really good, and of course Keith Butler. He was the smartest football player I'd ever played with, and he was my mentor.
Well, they've done a great job with this up until this point, and we are officially protesting. I know you're not, but
that's very nice of you.
Me and Lefko, we're not acknowledging the linebacker group. With all due, we love Lofa, love Bobby, love KJ, all those guys, but they missed one. They screwed that up. Maybe they'll be able to rectify it.
I just kept telling people it's not a popularity contest, okay, people? No. Okay.
253 said, Dave, Norm blew 2 game-winning kicks at Mile High in 1990. You guys lost in overtime. How can you forgive him?
I don't remember that. 1990?
I don't remember.
Oh, guess what? I was probably hurt. Yeah, I don't remember that game specifically, but no, Norm was clutch, man. He really was.
317 says, no Dave Wyman. They must have only looked at Matt's ballot.
Too bad Matt's not here to enjoy that one. He would really enjoy that.
253, Dave, you are no slouch, my friend. No, you should have been in the top 50.
I appreciate that, but look at Chad Brown. Okay, I think what did I have, 5.5 sacks or something in my career? Maybe only 3 or 4 as a Seahawk. He had 48 sacks. Oof. 48 sacks, 3 interceptions. That's as much as me, and he's an edge rusher. And 3 touchdowns. So these guys were playmakers. Lofa Tatupu.
We're not saying he doesn't deserve it or Lofa does. Of course they do. They earned it, and so did you. Joe in Bellevue says, I don't understand Rufus. He was solid, but nothing to write home about.
I don't know about that. Rufus became a really good edge rusher after that.
He had a fair number of sacks, didn't he?
Yeah, after he had his whole debut as a special team player, he became a really accomplished edge rusher, and he had 10.5 sacks in 89, 5 sacks in 90, 10 in 91. 9.5. So, I mean, 41 total for his career. It's pretty good. And he just, I think, you know what? The whole special team thing in Seattle in the Kingdom was a really big deal. Like Rusty Tillman made it like something that everybody watched. And there were a lot of really exciting plays. And I remember one of the loudest times was I think it was either I recovered a fumble that Grant Fiesel caused or the other way around. And I just remember people going nuts. I mean, it was, and you know, when Freddie had that big hit on that Monday Night Football game, I mean, the whole place practically imploded. I mean, it was incredible how, you know, how loud it would get in there, but a lot of it was because of the special team stuff. There was a lot of appreciation for that. So that's why I think Rufus and Fred, who are good linebackers in their own right, also with all that special team swagger that they had, that was like something to watch. Like the kickoffs, you were like, hey, come here, watch Rufus on this play. Whenever there was a kickoff, it was like, you know, appointment watching basically.
Dave, I was going to save this for Friday, but didn't you have to play at least 45 games? And with all your injuries, wouldn't that disqualify you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I made that criteria.
He was on the list, and somebody said, I think Matt is protesting the fact that Bob is protesting. Somebody else said, Dave Wyman was a hard hitter, different sound when you hit people. Another one just said, I just lost it. It just refreshed on me. But, yeah, you're getting a lot of love from our normally chippy texters that like to give you the business, if you will.
Let's see how they feel on Friday when it's mean text time.
Maybe we can run upstairs during the break and get this thing straightened out because there seems to be a big omission here. And 206 just says, Wyman, great radio host.
Thank you, 206. Yeah.
So, yeah, they've done a great job up until this point with this list. And, again, the linebackers, Chad Brown, Keith Butler, Rufus Porter, Lofa Tatupu, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Fred Young. And your two specialists, again, no kicker made it, just Michael Dixon and John Ryan. So there you go. And Lefko asking the question, any snubs or surprises? Yeah. No kicker is a big surprise, and the bigger surprise is Dave Wyman is not on the list. So there you go. Meanwhile, what truly led to the Mariners firing of Scott Service? We're going to hear about that from a man who knows when we sweep the dial. That is coming up next with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks OTAs continue, and Seattle Sports is there.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
This thing on?
It's on.
All day today with Bump and Stacy live at the VMAC at 9 a.m.
OTAs kicking off today.
Followed by Wyman and Bob right up to Mariners pregame at 5:30.
We'll talk about what stood out.
We are your eyes and ears on the sidelines at Seahawks OTAs. The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. I just wanted to tell this the story of a couple of weeks ago. We had Andy Ryder. He's the mayor of Lacey and also a Swedish Cyberknife patient. We had him and Dr. Landis from Swedish Cyberknife, and they were in studio a few weeks ago. Like I said, a couple things that stood out about Swedish Cyberknife treatment. Number one, it only takes 5 sessions, just 5 sessions. Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, Monday through Friday, and continued to work full time. And each treatment session lasts less than an hour, so he could do that. He was able to remain comfortable during treatment. You can wear your street clothes in there during the treatment. Didn't experience any side effects other than just mentioning he was a little bit tired. But you compare that with other treatment methods where you have to have surgery or you have to have a catheter. I mean, it's night and day with Swedish Cyberknife. And we talk about building sports teams and trying to find superstars. Swedish Cyberknife truly has that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field, just like Dr. Landis. And Swedish Cyberknife treats patients from all over the state. And the other thing people don't realize, you don't need a physician referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor Installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacey Rost here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at WOISeattle.org. That's WOISeattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
This is a really interesting conversation. Mariners GM Justin Hollander was on with Jason Stark and Doug Glanville. They do the Starkville podcast on The Athletic. And he talked about a number of things. We played some cuts from him earlier, but he also outlined how much it weighed on him when they had to fire Scott Service.
probably the worst week of my professional life, having to talk through those decisions and ultimately do what we felt was best for the Mariners in that moment. Obviously, Scott accomplished a ton as the manager of the Mariners. He's a great manager. I have 100% confidence that he will manage again and be very successful. We just weren't playing well, and we hadn't played well for a long time. And it's something that we hadn't really ever considered, either from a coaching or a managerial perspective before. I think last year we made changes with the hitting coaches, and we made changes to the manager, things that we had never done in season before, dating back to when Jerry Scott and I worked in Anaheim together. It's just very rare for us to make those kind of changes, mostly because I think that our mindset has always been we're all in this together, and it's not a person's fault. There's a lot of reasons why a team may not be playing up to expectations, and it's really hard and sometimes unfair to point the finger at someone. And this wasn't really a change in philosophy with that. We just felt like we needed a different voice. We needed to shake things up and try something different.
I believe him. I believe him that's what it was, because Scott, I mean, we've all been around him, and I don't know how many times we questioned, whether he went righty-lefty or, his managing skills. Mm-hmm. But everybody seemed to love him, and he seemed like the right guy. So when he says, hey, we just needed something different, we just needed change, I totally buy that. And I'm glad that that's the reason, and I believe that that's the reason, because there was little to find that was bad about Scott's service.
Well, and he's like every other manager where there were times you'd question, well, how come you didn't pinch hit for this guy? Or why did you send this guy? Or why did you do this, that, or the other? I mean, there's 8 million opportunities within one baseball game to say, why this, why not that? Why him, why not him? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. I mean, Dan's taken a lot of it very early this season. I've seen a lot of, why is Dan doing this? He doesn't get it. He doesn't. There's a lot of that out there about Dan. And that's just the life of a baseball manager. There's just too many opportunities to second guess. Having said that, Scott did a tremendous amount with very little at his disposal. Horrible offenses, not because he wasn't a good manager, because he didn't have the talent. I mean, the year they win 90 games and they got a negative 53 run differential. Right. I mean, he was the manager of the year finalist 2 of 3 years. So he's a guy who, whether Seattle fans felt like he doesn't know what to do with a bullpen, he doesn't know whatever. He knows more about baseball than you could ever hope to. And he was a very good manager, especially considering the hand he was dealt in the way of personnel. And we'll see how much better Dan is at it. We'll see if he gets him to a different spot. Does he get him further? You've got a little more at your disposal offensively, not a ton more. So it's kind of apples to apples. We'll see how it goes.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, this was last night, but it was after the game, and no, there's been no further update outside of Daniel Kramer's tweet that you mentioned, Bob, that still no word on the X-ray results. But here was George Kirby last night after the game, asked how it feels after getting hit with that line drive.
Pretty good. I didn't even hurt, honestly. Got my hand, like 50-50 hand mouth, but we're good. Yeah.
He was just, it was so funny, just like, feel good. I'm fine. Almost like, I just don't even want to talk about it. Why were you talking about this? Was kind of the vibe, if you will. It just, it didn't even really hurt. And maybe it hurts today. I've got to imagine there's a little soreness today, whether it's the chin. I don't know if it hit him in the lip, the chin, if his hand hurts, who knows. But he really shook it off, walked off the field, just kind of staring out in the space like, well, that sucked. And then post-game presser, usually if a guy's hurt, they don't make him available to the media.
Right. Well, and I thought in the beginning, well, maybe he got a concussion out of that somehow, because, but I don't know. I mean, maybe his jaw sort of absorbed the shock or something. But, and I don't think he was trying to be a tough guy. I think it's just who he is. I mean, and the other thing, too, like his reaction coming off the field, maybe he had just a ton. I would think that would really pump the adrenaline. Yeah. When you're in, like, I don't want to say life and death situation, but like all of a sudden you got something coming at your head for 103 miles an hour that, maybe he would act a little bit different. But then you see him in that was probably an hour later, hour and a half later, and he's the same. So, yeah, tough guy, and I don't think he's going to flinch the next time he gets up on the mound.
Sweeping the dial.
Tim Hasselbeck on NFL Live yesterday he was having some fun with the overreactions around Sam Darnold's OTA performance.
Can you rip up the contract, Dan? 2 interceptions and 7-on-7 in June? I mean, hopefully he shows up to practice tomorrow. I don't know. Like, normally we do overreaction Mondays during the season, but we can do, overreaction Tuesdays right now. Look, you never know the scenarios in these things. You also never know what they're trying to do. You have a lot of young guys in there, oftentimes, running wrong routes, things of that nature. I think Darnold in Seattle is a great match. I think he ends up playing well for him.
I think he's responding to Mike Salk. I think that's what he was doing. Yeah, no, I get it. It seems ridiculous that you would even act concerned over interceptions in 7-on-7s, OTAs, no pads, new system, all that. But as you said, and it's a fair point, it's all we have to go on. It's not, we're not making it up. It did happen. Here's our observation. This is what stood out. I mean, in a situation where there isn't tackling, there isn't hitting, there is very little that it truly stands out. So the easiest thing to assess are receivers, quarterbacks, maybe defensive back. You can't do the trenches, all that. It's hard to determine, they had a good day or a bad day.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a direct result right away. Pick, bad.
Yeah.
You see an offensive lineman blow a block, nobody notices it. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be that way for Sam Darnold. And it's not because I think people hate Sam Darnold or anything. It's because of the curiosity that is his career.
Yeah.
The 6 years where he was lost, and then last year, and then how it ended. So I think that's going to be part of the drama for Sam Darnold, no matter what. I mean, we get into the season, and, he throws a couple of picks. Maybe it's early in the season. Everybody's gonna overreact.
Oh yeah, everybody that ripped on Geno his whole time here is gonna go, I told you shouldn't have traded Geno.
Yeah. I know Geno became very popular all of a sudden, right?
Much like you talk about the tails get taller as you get older.
Yeah.
He's gonna get better every time Sam makes a mistake.
Right.
Every Sam Darnold mistake, Geno will get better.
Add an interception. We'll add a touchdown for Geno.
Yeah. All right. Coming up, we'll learn a little more about the lie detector video that Cal and Logan did, and much more in the latest edition of the Cal Raleigh Show. That is coming your way next with Wyman and Bob, live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center at Seattle Sports on 710.
Seahawks head coach Mike Macdonald, exclusively with Brock and Salk.
Your cohort, Mr. Schneider, talked a lot this offseason about pivoting. How was all of that?
It's kind of how we operate. You're looking at the lens of what we're trying to build, what's going to be best for us. I know it seemed like a lot, but we had time kind of behind the scenes here, and I thought we ended up with a team we're really excited about. The guys that are here are fired up for.
Watch the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page or get the podcast on the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Eric Johnson here. I covered a lot of accidents over the past 30 years or so, but I never got to say much about what to do after a crash. Be honest, do you know what evidence to collect, what pictures to take, what documents to request, or what you shouldn't say to your insurance company? The Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the roads throw at them. Know your rights and how to avoid common mistakes after an accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting back to business tonight. Game 2 of their 3-game series with the Baltimore Orioles. They'll send Emerson Hancock to the hill, looking for a win in this one. The pregame show starts at 5:30. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Finals from earlier today. The Rockies complete their first 3-game sweep since September 8th of 2024. They beat the Marlins today 3-2. Meanwhile, the Brewers hammer the Reds 9-1. It was the Red Sox over the Angels 11-9. The Cardinals and Royals were postponed in St. Louis because of inclement weather. Games going on right now. The Pirates out to a 3-0 lead over the Astros. That one headed to the top of the 6th inning in Pittsburgh. No score in the bottom of the 6th between the Cubs and Nationals. Guardians and Yankees in New York. Guardians up 3-0. That one in the bottom of the 3rd. Top of the 5th in Toronto. Phillies up 1-0 on the Blue Jays. And the Braves and Diamondbacks still in a rain delay in Atlanta. The Rays are out to a 1-0 lead over the Rangers. Top of the 2nd. White Sox and Tigers also in a rain delay in Chicago.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, this generally happens every Thursday, but we've got a Mariners Day game tomorrow, so you're going to get the latest edition right now of the Raleigh Show coming your way.
Wyman pitch to Cal, swinging a drive. Way out of here to right field. Cal Raleigh with a home run.
He's the best catcher in baseball, and he's on Seattle Sports. Thursday afternoons all season long on Wyman and Bob. It's the Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
With Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
Well, Cal, you come out and the sunshine comes out. I think that's just kind of the life you're living right now. It was like cloudy earlier. Player of the Week honors. How'd you find out about that?
We were actually at the CEF golf tournament on Monday. The Mariners hosted it up at Broadmoor, and I was playing, and some people congratulated me, and just on the golf course, I guess. So.
Oh, that's a good place to find out.
Yeah.
It was cool to hear that you did that. Why did you kind of decide, hey, I can go out on an off day and do that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's for a great cause, and helping them find a cure, and it's not ever a good situation when you see somebody have that kind of unfortunate luck. So get out there and raise awareness, and help raise some money hopefully, and it was good though. I mean, we had a good time. It was a great golf course, great tournament, and like I said, had a lot of fun, a lot of good people. Got to meet John Olerud out there, which was pretty cool. Never met him before, so it's good to see him.
What were the questions you had for him?
we just kind of made some small talk. So I know he's a legend around here, so it's good to finally meet him and kind of catch up and see a bunch of former players as well. So.
Well, that's cool. He was a heck of a hitter, heck of a first baseman. Neat person too. Just top notch. Even though he was a Cougar, but we'll let that slide. Last night, always a tough experience when you see a pitcher get hit. What did you see in that moment?
I mean, he got hit. I hit hand first and face, and obviously never want to see anything like that happen. It's very scary. So, but luckily he was okay, and I think it looked a little worse than it was. But like I said, you never want to see something like that happen. It's always a scary thing. So I'm just glad he's okay.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we got to talk to him last night, which was just huge.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would happen. What did you see in his last couple of innings? He said he really felt like it was kind of starting to come along for him then.
Yeah, I think, he was attacking with a heater, kind of getting back to what he does best. And, I think he's kind of an old school throwback kind of guy, He needs to establish the fastball, get those going, and then that opens up some room for some off-speed pitches. So, I thought he did a better job there, those middle innings of, attacking and getting some quick outs.
Are you seeing that with the guys that come back? I think people expect them to be 100% in what they saw mid-season last year, and it's a little different with a pitcher coming off of a lengthy IL stay.
Yeah, you got to get that feel back, and it's tough. It's hard. Anytime you're coming back from any kind of injury, any position, you can't. It's hard to get just thrust into it and be into that rhythm. You gotta have that. You gotta have that, like I said, rhythm of being in the season, knowing where your body's at, knowing where your swing or your arm is, and you just kind of need to get those consistent reps at in big league games. So it's hard and it takes a little bit, but. And I think that's the frustrating part because he wants to be doing better, and everybody, that comes back from IL wants to, be back where they were. But the reality is to just take some time.
George is known for when he is up and running, kind of fighting. He wants to stay in games, and I would imagine that's kind of fun to see when he does that. I heard last week Luis Castillo had an awfully nice outing. He was at 97 pitches. And the week before, I think he went to 114, and he said, hey, that's my job. Like, he wants to be out there. And when I asked Dan about taking him out at 97, and was the 114 the week before a consideration, and it kind of was, he kind of indicated that it was good to see Luis kind of he didn't want to come out at that point, that he still wanted to go. What do you see from him in those situations?
From Louis?
Yeah.
I think, you know, he's a guy that wants to have the ball, you know. You know, he's been there, done that, and he's definitely earned the right to stay out there and to get those extra innings, those extra pitches. And I love it when guys want to go back out there. I want you know, guys to do that. So, you know, it's kind of weird with where the game's at like nowadays, and pitch count and pitch limit, and it's funny, you know, we have this pitch count, but we had the most injuries it's ever been. So kind of ironic, isn't it?
Well, you know, there are two schools, and this is for smarter people than me, but some think throwing more helps, and others think that throwing less helps, and I don't know that we have a complete and total. Well, hello, Tucker. Yeah, the treats are over on the bench. I don't have them right now.
Only comes for treats.
Yes, he does.
I don't have anything either.
Have you got anything to say? No? Okay, run along. Yeah, I think someday we'll find out, and it always takes a little while for these things to kind of set in, which maybe brings us to something that is newer in the game. Did I hear you gave away one of your torpedo bats and then you asked for it back this week?
I did. I gave one to Ty, and when he came into town, which was great seeing him, and so I sent one over, and that same day I ended up breaking one. And I had to call for it back just in case because I was running low, and my new batch should be in here today or tomorrow, but it was just in case, so I did send one back over for him. But yeah, kind of funny. I was like, whoops.
Did you sign it?
He signed one for me. He was going to try that one out and see if he liked it or not, so I did sign a jersey, sent it over to him though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What's it like seeing former teammates when they come back, and you know, particularly like the first time?
Yeah, it's great, you know, especially, you know, it's nice to see him doing well, and you know, obviously it was very unfortunate when he left us last year, and it's just tough circumstances because it's a guy, you know, you become close with, and somebody you rely on as a teammate and a friend. So, but like I said, it was great to see him, and he's doing really well over there, and wish him nothing but the best. And he was always really good to me. So, you know, like I said, good seeing him.
That's a hard part. You just said rely on as a teammate and a friend. I don't think people kind of understand how much is taken out sometimes on players. It's part of the business, but that's got to be not fun all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's unfortunate, but it is unfortunately part of the business. So, you know, there's just tough situation, and like I said, you grow to be, you know, more than just teammates with these guys, friends, families, outside the field, things like that. And but at the end of the day, it's a tough game. So yeah.
And you like him, but not enough to give him your last torpedo bat. On the
Not
spot.
right now.
Not right now. And just to clarify, you're using that on the left and not the right?
Left and right now.
Oh, left and right. When did you switch to on the right?
I don't remember. It was maybe beginning of May.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
And was that because you got that one later, or you just got more comfortable with it?
It might have been right after Boston, I think.
Okay.
No, I just kind of. Rawlings sent me 3 different models of the torpedo, and one was balanced, one was top heavy, and one was kind of in the middle. And so the balanced one I used from the left side, and tried the top heavy one from the right side because that's what I usually like. We've talked about that before, and I started using it, didn't like it, then picked it back up. Was like, let me try it again, and I was like, all right, I think I like it now. So
okay.
Yeah, so. Gave it a few more tries, and it was good. Yeah.
All right. Well, hang on to them. They're in short supply, it sounds like.
They're on their way right now.
Let's talk about Emerson Hancock. We usually tape this a day earlier, but we are taping this on day of. What have you seen in his progression this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's really, like, kind of, you know, nobody ever figures it out, like I said before, but he's figured out who he is as a pitcher and how he wants to go about it, and how he wants to get guys out. And a lot of times, you know, it takes that from within. You got to figure out, you know, who you are and how you see yourself, and how are you going to stick here in the big leagues, and how are you going to, be able to, make yourself into an everyday big leaguer. And I think that's what you're kind of seeing with him. He's using his stuff a little differently this year and years past, and really trusting his fastballs and trusting his location and where he's trying to throw the ball, and mixing in a slider changeup as well. So I think the big thing is he's just trusting himself and going out there with, whatever happens, and, I'm going to, fail or succeed the way I want to. So.
Yeah, it's been so fun to watch with him as he grows at this level. Logan Gilbert and you had just another absolutely brilliant video with the Mariners. The lie detector video came out this week. What did you learn from that?
Not to do any more videos with Logan. That's for sure.
You seem very hurt that he didn't seem to believe you were the most fun person at his wedding.
Yeah, I definitely was. It didn't really hurt me. I was mad because I know that he knows the truth. So I was the life of the party at his wedding, for sure.
I've heard stories. You can dance a little bit, is what I've heard.
Yeah, sometimes.
And have I heard a splits might have been involved?
No.
No?
That's him. He does the splits.
He does the splits. Okay. That's just crazy.
I know.
That's just crazy. Okay, so why are you the most fun at the party?
I don't know. Weddings, they bring it out of me, I guess. Sometimes a little liquid courage never hurts. So
that's part of the deal.
Yeah. No, I was have a great time, and it was just a really fun night. A lot of friends, and it's always fun when you're celebrating something like that. You kind of just let loose and have fun. So.
Well, good for you guys. And I mean, if you're not the best at the party, well, he's not your favorite pitcher to catch. So I guess it was just all even.
Exactly. Right?
Cal, thank you.
Thank you.
There you go, the Cal Raleigh Show, each and every week here with Wyman and Bob and our Mariners insider Shannon Dreher. The Cal Raleigh Show is presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. And we were just watching the video that they did. Apparently they recorded in spring training of the lie detector test. It's hilarious. That is hilarious. People need to check that out. It's Cal and it's Logan. It's about 15 minutes long.
I think it just came out yesterday. It said 1 day ago, and I'm sure it's down at spring training.
Yeah, they're in Arizona.
Those two are hilarious, and
Logan's sneaky funny.
Logan is yeah. I mean, he has a lot of really good stuff. Like, I'm sure that, I don't know, maybe they wrote out the questions.
The questions are hilarious. I don't know who
really
wrote the
good.
questions, but they're very good.
Yeah.
The questions are very funny.
Logan's like, let's stick to the question here.
Yeah.
It's like he's ordering Cal around. And
I mean, they're asking questions like, do you think you should have been an all-star last year instead of me? Yeah. Do you wish you had a bigger dumper than me?
And then Cal, he says no, and then Cal goes, yeah, it's inconvenient.
Yeah. It's just, some of the questions are very, very funny. Yeah. But, yeah, definitely check that out on social media if you haven't seen the lie detector test between Cal Raleigh and Logan Gilbert. Very good stuff. All right. By the way, the Mariners are hosting the Orioles tonight, and the T-Mobile Park roof will most certainly be open. Another beautiful day outside. At least it was when we got here. We're in our little closet. We don't have any windows, but I assume it's still nice out there.
I think it all burned off.
Did it?
Yeah, because this morning was gray and everything, and so yeah, I think I'm gonna say that I'm gonna endorse your call
of the open roof.
It's open.
That's the Mariners Roof Report, brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors.
That'll be sure to make it rain, right?
Just opposite of everything. Yeah. By the way, have you submitted any questions to Shannon?
Oh no, I haven't. I figured she probably has just heard everything and is swamped and whatever. But
I think it'd be fun if you just honestly wrote out one that acted very sincere, like, "Hey, do you remember that time that you hit that home run?" And you would, and give it to her, like, "Hey, would you mind asking?" And have her.
Think Shannon could pull it off?
I just want to see her reaction. Like, I'm not. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm not asking him this.
Do you remember that?
Remember when you hit that home run and you guys went to the playoffs? Yeah. That was awesome.
Right after that happened, what was that on? Was that Tommy Boy? I'm trying to remember what.
That was SNL.
SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I told this story before, but I'll tell it again because we're at the VMAC. Schneider, when in 2010, brought a bunch of people in here to talk to his scouts and everything with some Seahawk knowledge one way or another. Well, I happened to come in with Warren Moon. And so it was me and Warren. And so I got up in front of the scouts and just talked about my experiences here and everything. Warren gets up and John asks the first question. He's like, "Hey, Warren, do you remember when you went in the Hall of Fame?"
He said,
and I don't think
that
many
was
people
awesome.
knew. Yeah. And then he said that was awesome. and Warren's like, "Yes, John, I do remember that," because he didn't know what he was doing. But yeah, there's the GM just right off the top cracking a joke, and it was hilarious. But yeah. Well, that thing is one of the funnier things I've seen in a long time, just because Logan and Cal are so genuine during the whole thing. You can it's like watching a couple of like two brothers fighting.
Yeah.
Or
even a married couple. I mean, they're like, one of the questions that somebody wrote out for them, but they're reading from a folder and they're going, "Do you think I'm high maintenance?" Am I the best catcher that's ever caught you?
Yeah.
And he said yes. And then they have the lie detector guy giving thumbs up or thumbs down on every question, saying he's telling the truth or no he's not. And on that one, Logan said yes, and the lie detector guy goes thumbs down. Cal goes, "I think our friendship is over after this."
Well, the other funny part too is Logan grilling the guy who is supposedly the private investigator.
Yeah, he thinks he's a
like,
setup.
Do you have a website? How do we know this is legit? Like he's just peppering him with questions.
And as they're doing it, he goes, "I think there's somebody in here pushing a button. Every time I answer, they're going to say it's a lie." He's suspect.
Oh, man.
And Cal said, "That was sus."
Sus. I heard that. Well, I think it's maybe more funny to us just because we've talked to those two guys probably more than anybody on the team over the last few years. But
and they're both nice guys, Dave.
They're both awesome guys. But also, do you remember we were asking Cal last year, not this spring, but the spring before, about being roommates with Cal and I'm sorry, roommates with Logan, and how Logan went and bought a ukulele or something.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, "Did you want to smash that over his head?" And he goes, "Yes, in his sleep."
I think Logan said he was playing it on purpose just to annoy
just to annoy Cal.
Yeah. You guys definitely check that out if you got some time and need a laugh. It's good. Hopefully you won't need one after the game tonight while I'll be celebrating a win. It's going to be interesting to see what this lineup does, with Solano in there and the others.
They got Demo.
They got Demo back in there. I'm anxious to see what they do with the young guys. How much slack, how much grace do they give them? If Cole Young, I mean, his first game was a great story. He hasn't had a hit since. It's not like he's played a whole boatload of games, but I'm just wondering at what point do they say, okay, we need to get some production in this lineup. We can't wait for him to develop or wait for him to find the timing. Williamson's on a different track. He's coming up with hits. He's just not, he doesn't have any pop, at least at this point. He's got one home run in his time up here. You want production out of your corner spots on the infield. You're not really getting it. Tellez with 9 home runs is giving you some pop, certainly, but you're not getting it from Solano. You don't have Raleigh yet. He's still not healthy. So, yeah, how much – I don't know. What's the level of tolerance? Sounds like you're dealing with bad play.
Yeah.
Ben Williamson's playing great defensive third base. He's coming up with hits. His average is probably one of the higher averages on the team right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the same number of ABs, but still, it's just you need to find some production at that spot. I just don't know what your option is. If you're saying, all right, we need production, we can't put Williamson out there. Who are you putting in there? Who's playing third?
Yeah.
Is it Demo? Are you going to put him at third? I mean, you don't. It's not like you've got a big
for the bat. Or...
Yeah, I mean, you don't really have the option on the bench. There's not that guy that's sitting there going, well, how come you're not playing him? Yeah. At this point, it's probably Demo. You're okay. He's been out for a while. How come you're not running him out there? So,
well, I mean, if somebody can just, if you can get that power from somewhere else, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at Dylan Moore. They're facing a left-handed pitcher tonight. So lefties, he is 283 is his average. Actually, 253 against righties. His biggest problem really has just been the errors this year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm excited to see them bounce back here.
Yeah, hopefully it starts tonight. You got the pregame show coming your way here. Want to thank our guests today, A.J. Barner, Paul Moyer, Eugene Robinson, and the Raleigh Show. If you guys missed any part of that, make sure you head to the podcast page and check it out, especially our conversation with Eugene Robinson. Really good stuff. A lot of people texting in on that. If you missed it, it's just great stories. Great stories about, certain instances in his career. Ronnie Lott giving him a thumbs up after he picks off a ball and he's running down the field, and Ronnie Lott playing for the opposition at the time. So that was an interesting story. But all of that is on the podcast page. Just head to seattlesports.com, click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture and click on that. It'll be right there waiting for you each and every night after the show. You got the Mariners and the Orioles coming up, game 2 of that series coming your way next. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Wyman and Bob.
Seahawks OTAs continue, and Seattle Sports is there.
Coach McDonald sitting down with us. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
This thing on?
It's on.
All day today with Bump and Stacy live at the VMAC at 9 a.m.
OTAs kicking off today.
Followed by Wyman and Bob right up to Mariners pregame at 5:30.
We'll talk about what stood out.
We are your eyes and ears on the sidelines at Seahawks OTAs. The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. So glad, so thankful that Molly and I made the call. Had heard so many First Mark Challenge victories, we needed to take that challenge. What does happen from your perspective when that caller, when that email, when that person reaches out to you for a First Mark Challenge victory?
That's a great question. So there's several steps we go through in the process. The first step is we're going to gather information, find out all we can about that client and what their needs are. The next step is we will go out to the market. We have dozens and dozens of carriers that will compete for the business. At the end of that process, we will then bring those findings back to the customer, show them what we found, and who the eventual winner was in that competition.
And it may be who they're with.
It might be, yes. And sometimes that's the best we can do is recommend they stay where they are, but maybe modify a few coverages to put them in a better position.
So go take that challenge today. Go be the next First Mark Challenge victory. It costs you nothing, and they will be there with you every step of the way. FirstMarkInsurance.com. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO